Hello, welcome to Retro Toy Princess. I'm Allison Troy, and my guest today is Oz, who you may know. And we're going to be coloring some Ghostbusters today. So, good
That's
morning,
right.
everyone.
Good morning.
Let's see. In the chat so far, we've got Brick.
Yay, Britt.
All right. And
I know we'll have some more people tuning in soon.
it's early. So, yep.
Right. I've switched up my color pucks here. So, yes, I'm doing something that's a bit of an experiment that I've not done before. I am trying to do a share screen with my digital art in Sketchbook Pro and figure out how to do this live streaming. That's new.
Nice.
So new.
Yeah, like I was really super happy that you wanted to try this because at some point I want to try to get into digital art because that is not something that existed when I was in art school. I mean, it
Right?
existed, but it didn't. It's not something that was taken seriously. But I'm still gonna do today the old kind.
Yeah.
Paper
Well,
and pencil, but I want to see you do what you do.
yeah.
And really
So
quick, we've got some people showing up, so let's quickly say hello to the chat. This is so early for your audience that like,
right.
and a lot of my audience is replay people. So yeah. Carol, good morning, Carol. Good to see you.
K-Ro.
Cog, hello.
What is going on?
And we got a graph. I think that's
Graph.
that's I think like with the kitty purr. So
Ooh.
good morning, all. Thank you for joining us on Sunday morning. And I guess for people on the East Coast where you are, it's not really morning, but here on the West Coast.
Yes, it is afternoon time now, and the football has started. Ravens are currently playing. I don't know what the score is, as I am coloring instead of watching sports ball. However, I'm repping. I got my Ravens gear on, repping my Ravens.
The Ravens are okay. Yeah, that's right. The Raven. I went and saw that. Well, they're baseball, right?
No, football.
Who's the baseball team? Because when I went to the Baltimore area the last time, we went. The baseball game got rained out though, so we just.
Oh no!
I got my pretzel and my beer and my hot dog. That's the only thing. That's how you know it's a real baseball game for me, anyway. Is you get your pretzel, your hot dog, and your beer. Like just one beer because I don't drink a lot of beer, but just the one to properly.
Well, yeah,
celebrate.
You gotta have that one.
So,
well,
that's how you know it was, like I went to Chicago and we went to Wrigley Field, and it was back in the day when like Sammy Sosa was on the team. I don't know, he might still be there, but like we got there, we sat down, had my hot dog, my pretzel, my beer, finished the pretzel. It was time for the hot dog. Sammy came up. It was like the first play. He knocked it right out of the park. It flew across the street, smashed one of those windows. I don't even know why people have windows facing it, but it did. And I was like, all right, let me finish my beer and my hot dog and we can go because I've done everything that this needs to be. So,
right. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm doing some hair tones right here.
Ooh.
Yeah. I decided I should, one of the plus sides of digital is that I can make separate layers so I can make sure where color is going to overlap. Oh, the beautiful dawning of a decade.
Good morning, Dawn.
Glad you could be here.
I was just asking Oz earlier if I should reach. I would like to invite you sometime to come color with me, Dawn. So that invite will show up at some point. So anyway, heads up.
There we go. But yeah, then I'll come in and I'll do a different layer for the skin and do a different layer for their outfits.
So I guess that's sort of the thing that, as not a digital artist, that I sort of wonder is like, how do you, 'cause sometimes you'll see really flat coloring, which is what happens when I try. And then other times I will see really complex, like a lot of comic books that use digital coloring. It's really sort of layered and complex. So, like, how does that happen? Like, I don't quite understand, excuse me, how
Well,
they get, like nice skin tones and hair.
yeah, it's really a matter of being able to layer. I mean, you could do it all as one flat layer if you're skilled enough.
Yeah.
Me, I am still very, very new when it comes to
Okay.
doing all this digital.
Okay.
I am more of a physical media kind of person.
Okay.
However, I thought for the sake of the stream, it would be nice to do, this digital and be able to share
Oh
my
yeah.
screen. And
Yeah.
actually, I'm digging it.
No,
It's
I'm into
neat.
it. It's nice.
Now,
It's nice to get the variety. So
right? Well, I figured, Lawrence was on here with crayons last week.
yeah, and I had a
So,
variety of utensils yesterday.
right? Man,
So
that's a really, really cool Princess Leia stream, by the way.
it was fun. Like it was everything. I feel like if Carrie Fisher, well, if she were with us, it wouldn't have happened, obviously. But I feel like if she were, it were the kind of thing she would have liked to, sort of, especially when we got to the sort of YouTube drama gossipy part of it. She sort of loved all of that as much as she disliked all of that. So, and then we
Right.
smack talked some moms. So a
Well, some moms deserve to be smack talked,
little bit, yeah. So
right? So I added another layer. You can't see it because unfortunately, with my dual screen, as we discovered shortly before going live,
yeah,
some of my pucks and stuff that I'm using to alter where I am working just aren't showing up on
yeah.
share screen. However, see, like, so now I've got the hair layer sitting on top of the layer I added for skin.
Okay.
So right now I'm over top of where his hair is. And if I start coloring, you can't see it until I get down here to his skin. So that's
All
like
right.
kind of a cool thing. Oh, I see Dawn has responded in the
Yeah,
chat.
she has. Just
She loves
sweet. We'll
coloring.
make that for sure happen, Dawn.
There we
And
go.
also, this is her first time seeing you color, so that's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Good morning, Rolando. Thank you for arriving. Or wait,
Rolando.
words are hard. Thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you for arriving. Well, thank you for arriving also. It's excellent. And Pain, hey.
Hey, Ron. Hey, Ron.
Me and Aaron will be doing this. Well, we're gonna do a pre-record because of his scheduling. So,
Okay.
Aaron will be joining me soonish.
I'm excited for that.
No, I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At my time in the hospital, I gotta say, there was one thing that they liked to let us do, and that was color.
really,
Yes. Now, mind you, all we had was crayons and
right?
some
Well,
pretty blunt tip markers.
of course.
But yeah, like, I was sitting there coloring pages all day long until it was time for group.
What kind
And
of
then
books did they give you guys?
they just gave us pieces of
Oh,
different papers, like they would print off multiple copies,
okay.
and that's what we had to choose from. So, I mean, you know, I was doing a lot of stuff with different skulls because I like skulls.
Yeah.
And, I find that kind of funny. Like, I'm in there for what I'm in there for, getting help with that. And they're all like, here are some skulls to put on there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, cool.
All
Whatever.
right. Yeah.
I'll take it. It's what I like. So I ain't
Sure
complaining.
can. Right. That's interesting. I mean, it makes sense because there are a lot of the reason adult coloring has taken off is because of its therapeutic.
Oh, that was
It's good
crazy.
for relaxation and it's good for it keeps your mind occupied without like over occupying it. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course the hand-eye coordination. So it's like that's sort of all of the stuff. Like when I first heard about adult coloring, it was basically my friend had given me some of the sort of typical adult coloring books. She gave me like the vulgar cuss words book where it was like color all these cuss words, which is fine, but it's not sort of anything. I still have it. Never colored in it.
Right.
Because it just wasn't sort of, I mean, it's a cute, it felt like sort of a humorous book. And she also gave me a book of like Mandela type, but more geometric patterns. I colored some of that. I also colored one of the pages and then cut the little squares out and used it for avant-garde paintings. And a diorama I helped my friend make for her music video. She wanted to have a Ken
Oh,
doll playing
cool.
the piano because her song was Brian Wilson, about Brian Wilson. So we got her a Ken and made him Brian Wilson. But yeah, so adult coloring I didn't think very highly of because I had no clue. And then I started reading about all of that when I was like, I want to color old coloring books. So it's interesting to me that I should look into that in my area and see if any of the local facilities that house people that need help take donations, because I have a bunch of books, not the cuss word one, obviously, but I have a bunch of books that I've acquired that I won't ever get to.
Right.
And that aren't of interest to like sort of to give as giveaways when I can offer memberships. So
Oh, that would be cool.
I should donate them because I bet really quick I'm gonna put myself up. Oh wait.
Do it and big in yourself.
Yeah, I'm big in myself. Let me do that really quick. Oh wait. Okay, there's Oz. Okay, it's because it's a share. All right, let's see.
Do you need me to stop sharing for a moment?
No. Okay, there we go. All right. No, I just needed to do solo. So really quick, I do want to show this because what anyone out there who's going to color, one of the things you will find with old coloring books is sometimes the lines are not great, and that's just part of the way the printing worked on these old coloring books. So one of the uses of my paint pen is I will go in and their eyes don't look great right now, but they will whenever I actually go in and fix them. But I'm going to go in now so this all dries in time for me to actually color those. So this is one reason a good paint pen is handy especially if you're doing old coloring books, and not coloring in the coloring book because you will actually, I mean, it still looks like that in the coloring book, but yep, so just get your paint pen, fix it. Once it dries, I'll go in and use one of my fine lines to pop the eyes in there. So
I didn't even think about doing that, and since you have done that and brought that up to me, let me go up here. I'm going to add a layer, and I'm going to put that over top of the line art. I'm going to make it the top layer. If I can get it to set. There we go. I got it all the way at the top now. Then I'm going to go in here. Actually, it might black out my screen to do this. I think it will when anytime I go to grab a color using the eyedropper, it does that. So now that I've done that, let's go ahead and, ooh, maybe that brush, that's a little too big. Fortunately, that's another plus side. I like my undo button.
Yeah, undo is good. You don't have an undo, and it's actually there are little ways to fix stuff, but it's a little different. So
right.
And the paint pen gets used sometimes on other things.
So there we go. Now I can actually kind of put in their eyes, and you can see what they are looking at. And it's just, I figure instead of erasing the existing line art, if I actually just go in and color white over top of what I figure their eyes are focused at, that will do it. And then see, we'll fill in a little bit more up here so it matches Beret. And voila! There we go. Now they actually kind of have eyes.
That looks really good. Let's really quickly. We have a few.
You.
Yeah. Hello. Good morning. Oh, hello, Duchess. Good morning.
Duchess.
Great to see you. You probably saw my comment. I just finished one of yours before we got started this morning. One of the Prowler's poems. So if you're here and you've never seen any of the Duchess's work, please go find her. She does great horror and suspense content. She's YouTube's own Elvira. So, and yeah, and we all love Elvira. So we need one for YouTube that's just for YouTube right now until Duchess takes over the world. Good morning, Thanos. All right,
Man, considering how many of these people were up last night with us on the stream, glad you could all be here today.
Thank you for waking up. Like that's the nice thing about my streams. It's like I'm never on Sundays, especially. I'm never overly worried. Like I do pretty good on the rewatches. A lot of people pop in afterwards and watch. So
yeah,
it's kind of nice. Anyway,
I switched up my tool from a pencil. Now I'm going in with an airbrush, narrowing down my tip.
Just a tip.
Just a tip. We're going to zoom in on Winston here. Oh, I'm noticing that the black I did for his eyes is actually blue, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, no, that's not bad. No, I don't, obviously digital. I'm not quite as on top of how it all plays, but yeah, often with Prismacolor, if somebody's eyes are like even brown, I'll put a little green in there to help them stand out.
Yeah.
So a little bit of color.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put in a little bit darker here in the ear where it's going to be curved over on the inside. Excellent. Maybe that'll stand out a little bit more. And let's go in here under the nose a little, put in some dip. We'll go under the chin, and I'm going to try to keep it still very kind of cartoony looking, because that's what we're going for, cartoon. Well, at least I am trying to match the cartoon, and I know we were speaking before.
Yeah,
you're going to go for the toy, right?
Yeah, I'm going for. Well, in general, that sort of is my aesthetic. And anyone who has heard me talk about this on Motu and Princess of Power knows that, but I tend to prefer the toy designs of things. And I get why people I understand why people like them. It's just not my preference. But yeah, especially with Motu and Princess of Power, it was really always more about the toys. And I actually did not. My brother was a real Ghostbusters fan. I only had Slimer, but yeah, so for me the only real exposure was his figures and sort of hearing it from the other room when I was getting ready for school in the morning, because it hit when I was in high school. So I think it was 87, 88, right?
Yes. Well, yeah, it was after the first movie.
Yeah, I remember that, because the first movie was 84, but I remember the cartoon was a few years later.
Yeah. And it took several iterations to get I've lost my cursor. There we go. It carried on for quite a while and took a couple of different iterations through the years.
Yeah.
Which was really kind of nice. I prefer the first couple of seasons over most of the later seasons that they did. You know what? We're going to go back and we're going to erase this part under here because it's a little too defined.
That's sort of is though what's interesting to me about Ghostbusters. I don't know that Ghostbusters would be what it is today if not for the cartoon, because the movie was popular. And then the cartoon came, and the cartoon seemed like it was way more popular. And the toys were based on the cartoon and not the movie. Like,
Right.
It's a really and it's like the second movie we went and saw, and I remember my brother going, "Oh, like that's from the cartoon." So it seems like the second movie tried to bring in cartoon continuity, if I'm to believe what he said back then. Why wouldn't I? He was the one watching it. But,
Right. Like there were little bits of it. Because I mean, of course Sigourney Weaver's character did not carry over into the cartoon at all. Like she was not a part of the cartoon. Of course we didn't get the lawyer. No, no Rick Moranis, no Louis Tully, but yeah, like there were some elements to the cartoon because of course by that point in time too, they're thinking merchandising, we want to sell toys. Because hey, I gotta remember how to move this thing around so I can get to a different part of the picture. Here we go. I found it again. All right, we're gonna jump back over here to Ray.
Excellent.
And now on Ray, I need to grab his skin tone so I can pick a darker shade. So I'm gonna eye drop that.
All right. So
it's a shame you guys can't actually see my color puck and what I'm doing here basically it's got like this giant wheel, and on that giant wheel it's got areas where you click on. So like for skin tone I'm on orange, and of course like not only is Ray's skin tone in that orange field, but that's where you also get the browns to do Winston. And like it just really kind of helps that it's all one puck that I got to worry about. And then of course I still got to go up because I haven't even touched Peter yet.
And Peter likes it when you touch him.
That's what I hear. Peter really enjoys it.
Yeah.
He was the ladies' man in the movie.
Well, in real life, Dan Aykroyd was the man too. So,
hey, in the movie, Dan Aykroyd was the only one that got screen time. Play from a ghost. Yeah. He got that ghost lady.
Well, and he was in real life. Dan Aykroyd during Blues Brothers was engaged to Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
And then she left him for Paul Simon. I'm gonna just say Carrie, bad move.
Carrie owned up to all of her bad decisions later in life.
Right. I'm just like Dan Aykroyd in the day. He was pretty hot. Like circa 1978 through 82, pretty hot Dan Aykroyd.
You know what? If there was hope for guys like him, there was hope for guys like me.
Exactly.
That's what I told myself. So
I think it seems like you've done all right in that respect, anyways.
Oh, I'm winning. Like when it comes to that respect, I am friggin' winning.
So, yeah, So.
All right, now we're gonna move up to Peter here. I really don't think I need to touch up his eyes too much. Maybe a little bit. Let me come back up
Peter's
to
I went ahead and did them because I'm already touching everything up, so might as well.
Right. Yeah, I will go in here. Maybe I'll zoom in a little more because his eyes are a bit smaller. Ew, highly pixelated. Not articulated, pixelated.
It was like that should be a channel. Looks like pop actor aka Rick has joined us. Agreed.
Ricky.
Ghostbusters is the best. That is a toy line I regret missing out on in its heyday because that playset was epic.
I will give it, like, I enjoyed the toys. The playset is cool. But I gotta say, I used to hate when I would see, Ghostbusters is coming on TV. And like I'd go to watch it and I'm like, this is not Ghostbusters.
Right.
Like that really always upset me. I was like, that is not my Ghostbusters.
Yeah, no, I get it. It just sort of always cheesed me off because I know the history of why, like, and like the real Ghostbusters, it's like you're the people who bought the name.
They rushed out to buy that name
Yeah.
so quick.
Yeah, and then Filmation's put their cartoon out. I mean, that's the only reason Filmation brought it back as a modern property.
Right.
Because there was an old property that was mostly defunct. So
Yeah.
I do wish they had put a little bit more. I mean, Filmation definitely could have improved that show immensely. There are some things that just quite didn't land, but otherwise, it was a great toy line. Like, probably the most female figures any vintage toy line had. Because there were like 3 or 4, I think. I mean, G.I. Joe ultimately had more, but at the time, like, Wave 1, 3
Right.
female figures, like, unheard of. Outside of a
Yeah.
girls line, of course.
Right. Exactly.
So,
It was a male and female toy line. Like,
yeah.
both were present in there.
Yeah, I think that's sort of why Real Ghostbusters, even though I was older, part of it was just, it took forever for them to even do a Janine figure.
No, they had them. What was the first one they did? I think it was when they did the first wave of Fright features, which
Yeah,
actually was only like 2 or 3 waves in. They had the Janine. And then you had the Trapping Janine, where
yeah,
she looked like she was more in the Ghostbuster suit.
yeah,
But see, my problem was like you didn't get a Janine that could have the proton pack in her back because they had the specialized slot for that.
yeah,
And that kind of bummed me out because like I always wanted the Janine from the episode where she was a Ghostbuster.
yeah,
I wanted her to go with the rest of the team. And even though he was not in the cartoon, we did get a Lewis Tully Ghostbuster like that with a proton pack.
yeah. That's sort of, again, like, because since this isn't a toy line I was super familiar with, I did do a little research this week, and I was like, I didn't remember him being in the cartoon, but yet they did do a figure with him in cartoon style. I always wondered if maybe they planned on adding him to the show at some point and it just didn't happen.
Well, I think that was around the time of the second movie.
Yeah.
And because in the movie, he gears up with the proton pack.
Yeah.
And if you remember, he's the one that actually saved New York there. He's the one that broke the shell around the museum with his
Yeah.
proton pack because nobody saw what the Ghostbusters were actually doing inside. Knowing that they're the real reason. But hey, whatever.
Right.
Lewis, he got his play. He got his day to be part of the team and save the guys. And I am just noticing right now how derpy his eyes really look on this. They are like not the same height at all.
No.
Like I feel like he needs to be yelling, "Hey, you guys!"
Right. Yeah, that's the sort of one of the things I run into with these old pages is you do find some books that have amazing art, and then some of them not so much. And it's interesting to me, this Ghostbusters book, when I was going through it, I was having a hard time. Yeah, because when I pick up, like, this is one I bought as a PDF from one of the people who archives the old books and scans them in. And this was the only Ghostbuster coloring book I could find. And I went and looked on eBay, and there was nothing in good condition. For a price I was willing to pay. So I went ahead and got this. And then I was surprised, though, that, like, the art wasn't, it's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's perfectly serviceable, but it just, considering how good the art was on some of the books and how big of a property this was, like the GoBots coloring book having substandard art for the first, for their first coloring book, that makes sense to me because GoBots was such a,
it's GoBots.
Yeah, right. And even though they lasted a while, the later books get better, but the first one not so much. But it was also just Tonka was like just throwing it out there. to compete. So that I get, but with Ghostbusters, it's like it's a pretty big property. Like,
Yeah.
I would have expected better art than what the book has. So, but like for what I need, for us today, we were able to find a couple, we had a couple options, and this is a pretty good one. So it's also one I think we're going to save by the art. So,
Right.
that's sort of the other fun thing about doing this, I've noticed, is that there are some books where the little bit of extra that the Prismacolor brings or whatever pencil I'm bringing will actually sort of hype, like improve the art or whatever. So it's kind of cool. It's like, say, especially because some of these books have stories that aren't like, I couldn't find in my research. I tried to find out if this was an actual episode of the cartoon, and it doesn't look like it is. So this is an original story.
No, it definitely is like its own original story, and it's a massive coloring book too. Like this one
Yeah.
had like 90 some pages.
Yeah.
I was used to like those bigger format books being like activity books.
Yeah.
Like you had coloring pages, but then you also had like word finds or fill in the blank. So like when you sent this to me, I was like, "Oh my god, that is a
Yeah.
lot of really cool pages to choose
Yeah.
from."
Yeah. This is probably one that I'll end up doing the entire book of eventually, sort of to post as like a story video or whatever, because again, like there are a lot of really devoted Ghostbusters fan, and this is part of their canon. So, that's one of the things that appeals to me about the old coloring books is you are getting sometimes these stories that didn't appear anywhere else, and
Right.
like we as fans enjoy sort of that old stuff, and
Oh yeah.
so I'm do my best to try to get as many of the stories out as I can that way in
Yeah,
this weird
there's
format.
well, there's definitely a certain level of appreciation to doing this and being able to, it's a way of, especially with this, we're enjoying the toys without the toys.
Yeah.
Because not everybody can get a complete set of Kenner Classics Real Ghostbusters because some toy vendor assholes knew Maryland Toy Expo was going up and they bought all the ones at Ollie's,
Right.
for $5 and we're turning around selling them for $40. And, if it wasn't for Dawn, I would not have my amazing Kenner's Classics collection. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dawn.
You are the best.
Oh, we have officially arrived. We've officially arrived today. Nolan has entered the chat, everyone. So
all right, we are here.
We are officially toy tubing now, or whatever my weird corner of toy tube, like whatever this corner of the toy tube world is. But
it's toy tube adjacent, of course, because guess where most people got their coloring books? Toy stores.
Exactly. But yeah, no, it's totally adjacent. It's part of the marketing for all these old lines. So
yeah,
it's a weird part of marketing, like that we obviously we don't see because like there's other ways that we get media now. But I personally kind of wish that we were getting that some of the companies would revisit this, but they would probably not want to have to pay artists to get quality art.
No, and we all, again, there's a big sneaking suspicion that the stickers in Snake Mountain were AI renders, and you know what? It's like, yeah, that kind of does make sense because if you look at like similarities between that and what we have seen from AI, it's kind of like, yeah, you know what? I'm inclined to go with this because like it really does make a lot of sense that that's what happened here.
When it even to me like that one is a head scratcher in all honesty because Mattel owns the illustrations to the vintage Snake Mountain. All they have to do is get decent scans of the originals, clean that up, and then reissue them. So it's not like something that would have had to even be created wholesale. Like I'm literally going to go. I think Toy Polloi has them, and I'm gonna
get for free.
Yeah,
He has
he
them
probably,
for free.
even if they weren't for free, I would literally pay Toy Ploy whatever, like I'll
Well,
probably donate a couple
yeah.
bucks, but like I don't,
Well,
it just is a head scratcher, like,
they could have simply went over to Toy Polloi, sneakily downloaded them,
yeah,
right? Like, if there's some kind of legal reasons, like, come on, guys. You don't get to be that big without doing some shady shit on the side. Let's
right,
face it. You could have went on there, sneakily downloaded whatever you needed to, removed his watermarks, and boom, just slap those stickers on, and no one would have noticed. No one would
exactly,
have been the wiser to it. You want to know why? Because you guys were the ones that set the basis for the original sticker that
yeah,
he cleaned up. So
right.
it's like, is it stealing when it's your own stuff? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the, I don't know, it boggles the mind that they would like such bad stickers, like,
You know what? I meant to do that back on the regular skin layer. So now I need to go back and read. It's important to remember what layer you're working on. So, like, I have a
yeah,
shading
no,
layer, I have the regular skin layer, and you need to remember which layer it is you're working in so that you're not coloring on the wrong layer. Because when I go back and try to add just little details to the skin tone here after I'm done, like, I need that to be on its own layer. Otherwise, it's just not going to look right.
no, and it's important to have the layers in the right order, as I have learned
Yes,
on thumbnails.
that
Everything I know
definitely
about digital
matters.
art is because I make thumbnails now.
Yep.
Thank you, YouTube. It took me a while to figure out layers, though, I will say. Like, when I finally clicked how to properly use layers, I was like, oh my god, it's so easy now.
It does make a huge difference. Oh, Tony has jumped into the
Oh,
chat.
good morning, Tony. Oh, so Tony is awake and alive at this time of day and in a place where he can chat. So,
Well, he even said last night he had to be up at work. So I
yeah,
imagine he's between calls, between saving lives, because that's what Tony
yeah.
does.
I'm gonna have to probably pre-record with Tony also when I drag him on here to colors. So,
Right.
just saying, Tony. But yeah, so I'm definitely gonna do toy colors because it's too late. I've already committed. Although I don't have the exact color of aqua blue that the Winston's uniform is, so I just went with light aqua. It's a little off. Creative choice.
I would share with you because I have all the colors, but it doesn't transfer the media.
Yeah, that's sad.
Sorry.
Sorry, everyone. It's the one disadvantage to StreamYard.
Right. I can't transmit color through StreamYard. I would try.
Well, then I would have to compare it to my my handy dandy Prismacolor chart.
Prismacolor's the best though.
I have the swatch thing. There's a YouTube creator, Color with Claire, and she offers these for free on her Ko-fi. And this thing's, I've gotten to the point where I can just look at the picture and look at this and find which one
That's
I need.
awesome.
Yeah, it took a little while, but it helps to sort of swatch them all out like that. So,
Right.
let's see. So it looks like, is that like a green shade? Let's see. I'm gonna have to. I'm looking at right now the picture of the real Ghostbusters to try to figure out what color the straps are because it looks almost like a mint.
It's a kind of like a very flat gray green
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So
on the toys. They had kind of individual colors in the cartoon, which is the look I'm going
yeah,
to go for.
all the
And I will need to
straps
bring a reference.
are the same color. Okay.
Yeah, on the toys, they didn't get the individual colors.
All right. So let's see. I've got an olive green, which is too green. I've got I've got moss green. It's a little,
Moss? Moss green. He's spilling the tea.
Or as it says over, because we also get French words for whatever reason on Prismacolor, Mus Verte. Although that came out like I'm trying to do a Baroness from G.I. Joe accent, so it is what
it was always tough to pin down her accent because she was fluent in multiple languages.
Yes.
So it was like very Russian, Eastern European,
right?
And like flowed right over to the west side of the country or continent as well.
This week she's from Germany. Next week, Russia. 3 weeks from now, Scandinavia. I don't think she actually ever had Scandinavian, but it was always very, very Russian or very German-ish, which I guess was sort of in the 80s as both would have been go-to.
Well, right, because Germany was the bad guy, in the Great War, and then we had the Cold War at present.
Yeah, and East Germany was still a thing at the time.
Oh yeah, that's true. I sometimes forget about that at the time.
How can you forget East Germany and when David Hasselhoff singing brought down that wall?
He pulled a total, biblical walls of Jericho moment there.
He did. He got up there, he sang, and he looked at it with his whole ass chest, and the walls came tumbling down.
He ran at it with those red swim trunks, and it could not withstand the might of the Hasselhoff.
Not at all. I did. Yeah, I had to have shared that Hasselhoff poster story with you.
Oh, yes.
Directly just remember. I was like, wait. And then I'm like, no. I definitely shared that on a Oz stream.
Well, when you go for 8 hours, you got to have plenty of topics. So
yeah, and Hasselhoff is a good topic to have.
You could go for 8 hours on Hasselhoff alone.
Oh, I bet. In his heyday, you could probably get all the way up. Oh, wait, you mean talking?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
In the 80s, in his heyday, I bet you really could go for 8 hours with the Hasselhoff.
Right. Oh, look, and Kayla pops up just for the comments about the Hasselhoff.
Right, Kayla, just in time for the sexy time talk.
Sexy time, Hasselhoff. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know, but definitely was it was worth the trip to that.
I'm digging it.
Oh, it goes right. Yeah. All right, let's see.
All right, I actually need to use my other screen here because I need to look up a quick picture of RGB so I can color match the best I can. Like, I can see it in my head, but it'll help me better to see it as I'm doing it. Oh, shoot, I forgot I moved my keyboard so I could use my slate tablet. So I gotta bring the keyboard back down now.
All right, so that's kind of like
the amount of rearranging I had to do on my desk for this stream.
Yeah, my desk is permanently just like this now. It was because it used to not be, but I completely, when it was time to. Although this board is new, I used to use my light board for my trace board, but I didn't always like the texture I would get through that, and it started to turn yellow. It was not a spendy one, but it was like 5-6 years old. But the light, and with my new fancy lights, it's much better looking overall. So slow up, but now this whole side of the desk is just always for coloring. Like even when I'm not coloring, it's set up as if I could start coloring at any moment. So you never know when coloring is going to have to happen.
Be prepared, right?
Be prepared.
So I'm really excited about whatever this announcement is going to be on the 27th for Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch the Ghostbusters fandom around it because, like I don't have a big attachment to any of it. And it's been really interesting, like how you've got some fans who are really sort of jazzed and really excited for whatever it is. And no matter how small it is, they're going to be happy. And then you've got the people who are already like sort of jaded about it. It's really, it's very Star Wars. actually.
Eventually, that's just kind of how it goes.
All fandoms eventually become bitter, jaded, and
Entitled.
unhappy. Yeah.
They've been given so much, and they just want to keep taking and taking and taking until, boom, suddenly there's nothing left to take but cynicism and hate.
It's very sad. It's very sad. I mean, like, for me, Ghostbusters less so, because I'm not obviously as it's not my franchise, but it makes me sad for people it is, like, because
Yeah.
having sort of your joy stolen by a couple of negative Nancy's is not fun.
Right. Like, I mean, people are passionate about their fandoms. So it is always a shame when that passion just gets taken too far. But...
Yeah.
All right.
Do you think it's going to be a crowdfund, or do you think they're going to like announce the new toy line for the movie, or like?
I'll be honest, I have a feeling it's going to be a slime blower. Like, I really think it's going to be something along those lines, especially with the teases. Well, I'm not or bust. I'm going to be happy no matter what they announce, truthfully.
Good morning.
I would, without a doubt, love if they were to do a Kenner Classics Firehouse. Okay, that would make my friggin' year.
I might actually like jump in on that one because it's a pretty cool toy.
Yeah, that was like always one of those peak toys that were just like, yeah, you know what? This needs to. It's one of the best play sets of all time.
Yeah. It's really cool. Like, like I looked at it and I'm like, oh, you could put some furniture in there and it could be a cool townhouse for like my Barbie soap opera.
Hey, you know what? Now I've got arcade machines to go in there. I've got a boombox to go in there. I've got some tertiary kind of control panels thanks to amazing people. Like my ghost house is the firehouse is gonna be amazing.
Have you checked out Nostalgia Unbox, Jonathan's Ko-fi shop? Because he does have free downloadables, and some of them are like VHS. You have to obviously put them together yourself, but
right,
and like posters and all sorts of little things that would probably enhance an eventual firehouse. So,
well, I will definitely have to get into that.
Check his stuff out. It's pretty cool. I mean, he's making good nerdy stuff. If you
and that's what we appreciate.
Yeah, right?
We appreciate good nerdy stuff.
It's obviously a little bit more geared toward turtles, but turtles scale is pretty close to most scales. So like, if you need your action figures to have some 80s arcade games, or
I need to get some stickers.
Boxes,
I'm going to use some lighter fluid and remove the stickers that are currently on there, and then get some other stickers printed off to put over top so that the games are like recognizable to the time.
Nice.
Actually, I think it would be kind of cool to do like a Ghostbusters arcade game in there, because they were popular and they had memorabilia in the movies. That's not like really hurting the fourth wall too much doing that.
They were a franchise, yeah.
Right? They had balloons and coffee mugs.
Mm-hmm. No, if it's in World. It's not like it's not like you're trying to slide an arcade game of like Masters of the Universe into Castle Grayskull.
No, but you know what though? I will say that I could put a Masters of the Universe game that never existed into the Ghostbusters Firehouse, because in the movie, all those kids, they didn't want the Ghostbusters. They wanted He-Man.
Of course.
I will never forget that line in that. All them kids started chanting He-Man. I was like, He-Man's in my Ghostbusters.
Nice.
Even though it's just
that's in the second one?
Yeah. They show up to go do a birthday party, and like they're all like, oh, the Ghostbusters are here, and all the kids are like, who are you gonna, when they get to the part of the song, they're like, who are you gonna call? All the kids go, He-Man.
Oh my gosh. I don't remember that. I probably zoned out. Like, that was not one of
yeah.
was not one of my favorite movie going experiences as a kid. Well, again, I was older, so it was like, why am I stuck in this movie with my family? I should be watching the Christian Slater and I don't even know if there's
Should be watching
probably
Gleaming the Cube.
right. Oh my god,
Great movie.
the Cube. No,
I
there's that
love that movie.
Christian Slater heyday of like Legend of Billie Jean, where he's too young, but then right after that we got Heathers and
Right.
Pump Up the Volume and
Pump Up the Volume is definitely one of the best movies ever made. You can all fight me on it too.
oh yeah, no, that's such a good movie. Like now I'm looking up Christian Slater's filmography so I can see if I actually would have been sitting in that theater wanting to go see
one of his movies.
Let's see, Heather's Gleaming the Cube. Those were both 9. Pump Up the Volume, Young Guns 2, 90. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves in 91. Less said the better. Everything I Do It For You. Bryan Adams, F You, Back to Canada, Please Never Come Back, We Hate You. Cuffs. Yeah, I'm not a Bryan Adams.
I see that.
Yeah. The only thing, if he really wants to do everything for me because he loves me, he will never make music again, and he will just become a hermit and live quietly. So June 16th, 1989 was the release of Ghostbusters 2. We would have gone within the first month or two. Let's see. I bet. Let's see. Yeah, 89.
Carol might remember better than I did. Did we go see Ghostbusters 2 in theaters, or was that one we waited for home release? Because we were definitely going to see movies around that time. Like, at least I remember I was taken to movies around that time with Carol. Like, I remember, Little Mermaid. That was like one of my earliest memories. We went to go see Little Mermaid at Golden Ring Mall. It was one of my earliest movies I remember. That and 101 Dalmatians and Ninja Turtles are like the 3 earliest movies I remember seeing in theaters.
Okay, I think. So it was probably not Christian Slater. Yeah, because his heyday, like Heathers had come out in 1989, but it was still, it was like, I didn't see Heathers until cable, so.
Gotcha.
It was the same summer that both Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Child, and Jason Takes Manhattan came out, so I probably would have wanted to go see one of those. And then I did get to see both of those, and they were terrible, so. It was just not a very good
song. You didn't like oh god, I can't even remember his name. You didn't like him boxing Jason on the rooftop?
Julius? Not really, no.
Come on,
I can appreciate it for camp now, but at the time I was very disappointed because when I heard Jason was going to Manhattan, I had really pictured something far more epic than what we got. Like it was more like Jason on the Love Boat, which I know everyone complains about, so it's not even like a unique criticism or a unique crack, but it was very disappointing at the time. And there were hipsters sitting behind us who wouldn't shut up. And my friend Jennifer, her sister Pam, took us. And Pam literally at one point turned around and said, "Will you shut the F up? We're trying to watch this terrible movie and you're making it even worse." And the guy just goes, "I've never." And Pam just goes, "Not with that mouth, you haven't." And I was like, "Oh, no." Clap back.
Talk like, about that sass.
Pam was sassy. I would like to say I learned everything I know from her, but you don't get this sassy without it being many, many people contributing. So,
right.
But yeah, that was a bad summer for me because Ghostbusters 2, between having to sit through Ghostbusters 2 and both Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street crashing and burning spectacularly, not a great year in film.
No, it doesn't sound like it. Oh man, the screen's so small I can barely see what my layers are.
Oh,
Need to grab like my binoculars. Well, like that's the one downside of this. I can't
yeah,
name the layers because otherwise I would name one be like shading,
yeah,
this, that. It would be a lot easier for me. It just gets better at the end when I can hit combine layers and it's like done.
yeah, yeah. When it's
I
all
think
like
this
one
is
thing.
I think this is my shading layer. Did I create like an additional shading layer? I may have. I can't tell. I'm going with it though. We're going with it.
It's true.
Oh,
He went to Vancouver, and nobody should have to go to Vancouver.
oh.
Just kidding. Vancouver is lovely, I'm sure. It's no Detroit. All right. Okay, so really quick, I'm going to quickly pop mine up on the screen.
Go for it. I see Thanos is asking what I am using. And this is Autodesk Sketchbook. Used to be a subscription service art program that is now 100% free. And if you're looking into getting into digital art and you want to program with a lot of features and you don't have to pay a subscription for it, I highly recommend it. There's a lot of great YouTube tutorials on how to use it because that's how I learned. And honestly, you can only watch so many videos though before you're just like, okay, I need to get in and I need to start using this software.
Yeah. All right, so that's where I'm at.
Oh, yours looking so good.
Getting there, yeah. I normally do backgrounds first, but
these are just so big and open that, it's better. It's more fun to get in and do these details and then later just be like, bam, you got grass. It's a blob of green.
Yeah.
Blob of green.
We have sort of a limited time here, and this one, because it's more complicated, will take longer. So it always seems best on a stream to do the fun parts instead of the background.
Right.
But on shorts, I do it the exact opposite. But with those only being 30 seconds, you guys can tolerate it.
Yeah.
Often people stop watching if I don't do the background. They stop watching as soon as the person is done, which is reassuring.
Right.
Oh, we still like people. Great. Or if it's Voltron, we still like giant robots.
I like robots. Well, I got to be careful when saying that around, Voltron fans. It's kind of like Robeasts. Why are you liking Robeasts? I like watching them getting sliced up by blazing sword. And then it's the end of the episode and everybody goes, yay!
Did you watch the Voltron reboot series that they did on Netflix a few years back?
Oh my God, yes. That was so much more satisfying than watching the vintage.
It really it was one of the rare cases of something for me that like exceeded like the original in ways where it was just like, I prefer this. Like, I liked the redesigns. I liked some of the changes. I even, like sometimes when they sort of modernize things, it doesn't always work. Like when you bring in sort of certain sensibilities, but I really thought everything that they did to update that was really nice.
No, they did a phenomenal job, and they made one really good cohesive story for the whole thing.
Yeah.
They made decisions make sense. Like, so in the original one, like Sven just suddenly gets sick and disappears.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to get better. He actually died.
Yeah, right.
But we were two sensitive little kids for them to just be like all like, yeah, so we killed off a character in a cartoon. I mean, they saw how we did that with Optimus Prime in 86 and we did not handle that well. But that's because he was like, the leader of the Autobots. Like Sven was like, I'm the leader, and it's like 2 episodes in and I'm dead.
Yeah, to me dramatically that makes more sense because like,
yeah, kill him off before we get a chance to like him.
Well, that's part of the whole story. That's sort of a classic story point though, where it's like, the team is going to be one thing, and oh my gosh, diversity, and like the princess then has to step up and become part of the team to like fill in. So in that case, it would have been, I think, way more satisfying to tell that story. I mean, yeah, it's a little mature for 80s kids, I guess, but I think, I don't know, in live action, they would have told that story, even in a sort of kids movie. So seemed like to me like a really big miss that once I realized that's what it was, because that was.
Right.
But then didn't they bring him back, or did they just reuse animation somehow? Because
They totally reused like scenes from that episode, like his last episode,
yeah,
to fill in like, oh look, he's okay at the end.
he's part of the
It's
command or whatever.
like
Yeah, that
what?
was what was, and then he just never come. But you can't sell action figures, and it seems like didn't he also get an action figure? I'm misremembering that maybe.
I'll be honest, I don't think he did, because I seem to remember, well, because then like originally, while he was part of it for all of those first 3 episodes, the
Yeah,
color scheme of the jumpsuit matched the lion,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So when they did, I'm gonna grab my color puck here again, so I'm off there, and yeah, like when when he dies and he's no longer part of it, then it's like the color scheme stopped matching. So like now suddenly your blue lion has a pink pilot, the black lion has a red pilot, the blue
yeah,
pilot's, so like I seem to remember the princess coming with the blue lion
yeah.
when
She
it
was the
came to
blue
the
lion.
toys.
I know because I have the blue lion and the princess in the castle. Like those were my Voltron toys.
That's awesome, because that castle is really cool.
It was a pretty. It also worked as Palace Alderaan for Leia, so it did
Oh
double
yeah, nice
for a while
call. You gotta like it when you can double dip your play
there.
sets, right? Like I remember when I started collecting Power of the Force 2 in the 90s, and I had lost a couple parts to my firehouse uh, during that time. So, that grating on the floor that was for the slime,
Yeah,
that ended up looking really cool as like Jabba's palace with the grated floor
yeah.
going to the Rancor pit.
That might
So,
work.
mind you, I never got a Jabba the Hutt until after Phantom Menace came
Yeah,
out, and they really, or no, because they had the young Jabba, but he
yeah.
just did
For
not
the
look
special
like,
editions, right?
yeah, he did not look the part.
I
But
still had my vintage job of the hat from like 1983.
that's actually one of my Grail figures, is
It's a pretty good
vintage
figure.
Jabba. Yeah.
They're not super unless they've blown up in the last 2 or 3 years. They used to not be super spendy.
Well, they
But
are to get him complete with like his little throne and all
oh,
of his
gotcha, yeah,
stuff. Like I didn't want just Jabba. I wanted
gotcha.
the throne and everything, and that is a little harder to get.
Yeah, like the whole
Skelly
set.
just recently got one in a trade though, and that was pretty cool. I was happy for him, 'cause like me, I knew that it's kind of a grail piece for him he was looking for.
No, yeah, and well, there was also sort of that cool thing a few years back, and I did jump in on that where they found like many Kenner baggies with the pipe from the Java playset, the vintage one,
Oh,
and Salacious
nice.
Crumb, and like I think Entertainment Earth were basically were selling them. So I have somewhere in a bag like the hookah pipe and the Salacious Crumb because I picked those up
That is really, really cool,
because I had
because,
lost those from my vintage.
well, yeah, those are like those always missing
You
pieces.
So and there were a lot. They were in stock for a really long time. So, and of course, like eventually, I'm assuming they went out of stock, and it's mainly probably because people went in and bought them and are. I mean, they're vintage, so it's not like you're being sold a repo.
You're not buying a repro, right? You're completing a vintage set. Some people are very particular about that.
No.
Other people are cool with repros, and I get that. There's nothing wrong either way because it's your collection, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it's fine if you don't want repos in your collection. I get weird when people like, especially in the Star Wars community, when there's like the no repos side of it, where
That's
like they get really, really sort of weird about it, where it's like they will kick you out of certain groups if you even
yeah,
looked at a repo one time when you were like at a store that had them.
right. Yeah, I know Bobby. He's a big stickler for no repros with his Moto. And again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like,
Yeah, if you don't want it for your own collection, that's cool.
it's a good way to keep the purity of it. And like, if you think of it as like a museum, right? Do you just want
Mhm.
replicas in your museum or do you want like the actual pieces?
Right.
So it's always good when people are able to keep those around and preserve them, as opposed to just having all repros. But like for me, I don't mind a repro if it'll help me just
Yeah.
obtain that
Yeah, I've
piece.
got over on the shelf, I have the Stan Solo Yak Face and a Stan Solo Blue Snaggletooth because I want those figures, but I'm not gonna pay. And of course now the Yak Face is in one of those retro collection sets,
Right.
which I need to
Right.
get that because I want that Mon Mothma. And I want, like I am a fan of those retro repro figures from Hasbro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's kind of like how I've got my Kenner's Ghostbuster collection
Yeah.
now because of Hasbro's Kenner Classics. You
Yeah.
know, trying to find completed Ghostbusters figures with like 100% pack and wand and the little beam that comes out, like that's like so ridiculously hard to find.
Yeah,
Um,
and and even if you can find it, it's really expensive. Like
yeah,
I don't.
it's like you can spend like $12 on a good condition proton pack and like it still won't have the beam. The beam will be broken.
Right.
$12 just for like the pack.
Well,
So trying to piece that together with the figure, like you're spending a lot of bucks.
I remember my on my brother's Ghostbuster figures, those beams broke on all of them like within a week. Like,
Yeah, they were pretty fragile.
and he tried to tape them back into place, and that was not successful.
Nope.
Super glue did not work. I wonder in this day and age how gorilla. I mean, but you would be able to tell. So
Yeah.
for some people that would be a deal breaker. But I do wonder how Gorilla Glue would fare against a broken.
Maybe I should go. Well, see, and that's the other part too. Like you can't even like buy broken ones for the most part because like people won't have the handle. People won't have the beam, Like you can get a lot of times you can get the wand and the pack, because like the little
Yeah,
string broke. But those beams, like those were like really hard to replace up until we started getting repros. Yes, Brick, I am working digitally, my friend.
yes, he is. I normally I wouldn't allow it, but for Oz, we're gonna do it. Plus, I'm sort of wanting to get into some digital stuff myself, so it's good for me to see
It's a good
somebody
test
doing
market,
it.
right?
Yeah. Well, my hand isn't going to. I'm not going to be able to color all these hundreds of thousands of pages I have. I'm going to have to get creative at some point on some of these pages. So,
Right. Well, and the other neat thing is too, like, so normally there's a glove that you have to wear. Well, at least for me, because I use like a slate tablet.
yeah,
And so you got this glove that is basically it's like two fingers, and that way you can still use your other fingers, but it covers the palm of your hand so it can glide over the tablet. Well, I had to get creative and just use a handkerchief because I could not find that glove before we went live. But it's working very, very well. So uh, I'm good with it.
see, no,
Am I working on the right layer? Yeah. Yeah, because it needed to appear above the suit. So little darker shades through here. Happy little shading going on.
Oh man, Bob Ross.
Love that man. He soothed me to sleep so many days. And I like watching these videos that people are doing now where they're like lapping his like finished pictures over one another. And they're like, he was taking you on a journey. I was like, he fucking was.
Right. Yeah. He was. It's just weird because it's like he was just always there. Like when I would turn on PBS, like
Yeah.
no matter what day or time, it was just always odd to me how like no matter
Who
what.
is this froed out hippie painting?
Yeah.
And now he's like, man, I absolutely love watching him. Oh, I forgot. I think I can rotate this. Can I rotate it?
Oh.
Yeah, I can. There we go. Oh, it's been so long since I've done this. Thank you so much for inviting me to this, Allison. It's been a while since I've concentrated on just like some artwork. I actually owe my aunt a picture that I was trying to draw, and it's been like a year or two now, and I need to get back to it. So maybe this will help.
No, I'm glad. That's part of why I like doing this and inviting people so that they can sort of have an excuse to sort of sit and do some arty stuff because we're all really myself and like if I weren't finger quote making content, I wouldn't be doing half of the art stuff I'm doing.
Right? And it's important to have that artistic creative outlet.
Well, definitely. And I think that's sort of one of the things that I've noticed is that we've all sort of gotten to this place in the world where it's like we're all so busy that we have to justify sort of pursuits by turning into quote unquote content or like, or it's just a complete, I vegged out this weekend because I was completely zonked. So I just watched TV all weekend and
well, that was
about it.
That was one thing that Bud brought up, with his content. Like he, actually, hang on, I'm going to change from airbrush to pencil tip for this one. Yeah, like he's getting a little burnt out on doing his customs for content. It kind of takes the fun out of doing them leisurely. So there was like a couple of ones that he just did for himself. And it's important that we get back to that too. Right? Like, can't just enjoy my toys for the content's sake of enjoying my toys. I need to enjoy my toys because I still enjoy my toys. Yeah. But that's why I like when Connor comes over and we get a chance to play with the toys because the way he and I play with the toys is different from how like I just play with them when I'm on my own.
Yeah.
There. Now, I did check, and in the cartoon, their little zippers here are like the same exact color as the suit. So I'm totally like, yeah, you know what?
Oh, I missed Ed getting here.
Ed.
Yeah, I'm up. There he is. 12:07. Sorry, Ed. You get to coloring and you lose track of time.
Right. Get lost in the art.
And Toy Mama is also here. I put Toy Mama on screen, but I forgot to say good morning. So good morning, Toy Mama. Thank you for making it.
Right. I'm so glad everybody could be here. Especially, I like it when we get to see so many people that join us on Saturday nights. Because it's like, y'all aren't sick of us yet.
We didn't scare them off entirely.
Well, like, I figure people just really like hanging out with me all weekend long for how many people I see in all the different streams that I end up showing up in over a weekend. And I appreciate you all for that. It makes me feel like I'm doing something right.
Yeah, you're offering a service.
I am. Come chill with Oz this weekend. Where? Somewhere on YouTube.
Somewhere on the YouTubes. You're going to be watching it anyway, so you might as well.
Right.
Go somewhere fun.
So when we were watching, or when I was on Off Worlds on Friday, jokingly started mentioning, like, I'm not stuck here with all of you. Y'all are stuck here with me. And that's kind of how I treat YouTube.
How did that go? Did you have fun doing that?
Oh, yeah. No, that was a blast. I mean, it's always good to, just talk shop and nerd it up with people. It's why I like doing the hangout streams that we all do on Saturdays. And that's also one of those reasons too. Like, I decided to kind of change up the name of it, the idea, because it's Clubhouse, right? Like, we're all there, we're all present, we're hanging out together. It's not just Ozstradamus Toyz Live. Like, almost now it's like, well, what is my show if it's not hanging out with Thanos and Brick and Ed, Aaron, like, Bud hanging out with us. Like, we got to have that. But that's also part of what makes it fun and why people want to hang out for 8 hours at a time too. Because I doubt you all would seriously want to hang out and just hear me drone on by myself for 8 hours. My voice is not as pretty as Lawrence's.
Oh no, Lawrence is he is a lyrical genius.
He's got to be. Going on for 3 hours by yourself is no small feat.
No,
like, and if anybody tries to sit there and say, Lawrence, you only do 3 hours, Oz does 8 hours, I will be the first one to jump in there and be like, I do 8 hours with 10 people at a time. Right. Lawrence does 3 hours by himself.
It's like a panel of gas.
Yeah, back when I was doing my solo streams where it was just me, I didn't go for 3 hours. I think the longest I did was about 2.
It's just still pretty respectable.
It is. Yeah, that's not, it's certainly no small task to do any amount of time solo. You know what? I thought their straps were more different colored in the cartoon, but I look back and they're really not. So I can just dump these straps on real quick. All right, that ain't bad. All right. So where's my cursor? Here we go. We'll lighten it up a little so it's a little different from the elbow pad.
Nice. It's looking really good.
Thank you.
I'm liking the shading.
Yeah, and that's, again, I use a soft airbrush for the shading, but they also have a hard airbrush, so it comes out a little tighter.
Kayla.
I was going to say, Kayla, I left that open for you. Please take it. When I know people are around, sometimes I will just drop comments that they can jump on. Actually, I'm surprised Brick or Thanos didn't pick up the slack on it even.
Right.
Come on, guys. Don't leave me hanging. But yeah, these it works out pretty good. I'm liking the way it's looking so far.
I know, it's pretty good. I'm digging it.
I will say it's a lot easier to move around and do regular paper and media than it is to do the digital zoom in, zoom out, slide the thing over here, do this. But this I just thought would be neater because then I could put it up on the screen, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to share people what I'm actually doing. So,
all right. I need to switch cameras real quick, so no reminds me.
Alrighty.
Because the phone that I'm using is at 11%, which means it's about to die. This is why it's good I have more than one phone. Well, one of them is basically just for this. So.
Right. Yeah, you know what? All their little straps and stuff. No, this one's actually brown. Okay. So that's actually a brown, but their pouch is a dark blue. Okay. All right, so I'm doing the wrong color here. We need to go back up to the color wheel, come to this. Oh, look, it's already at a brown. We'll make it a slightly varied brown, though. We'll go more of a tan look. And just come in here with it like that. Yeah.
Right. Okay, let me check real quick. All right, and we are back. Perfect.
Oh, that is looking great. And yes, you have definitely matched the color of their streams to the toys.
Yeah, that looks.
That is looking really sharp.
It's getting there. It's going a little slower because, I don't know the toy line as much. So I have my reference of it. But I do that a lot with, for shorts. Because I don't, like Brave Star, I did I've got a couple Brave Star things I'm in the pipeline, as they say in the toy industry. But I didn't watch Brave Star as a kid because, again, it was a little bit after I had started gravitating toward boys and music and horror movies. So I have to have, and it's interesting because when like some of these older properties from the 80s, like the colors of the outfits will change in the cartoons, and
yes,
not everyone got a toy. Like Brave Star, like JB didn't get a figure.
No.
And she has like 4 or 5 different colors, like in the through the length of the cartoon, where like for whatever reason, so like I have to make those creative choices sometimes, and that's always when I expect I'm going to get that. That's not how they looked in the cartoon. Which, when it happens, I'm just going to be grateful because that's engagement.
Right? You got to appreciate the mansplainers out there mansplaining to you.
Please mansplain so I can like your comment and not reply to it, and just like it and give it the little heart and keep moving and help my engagement. So I actually have been really fortunate. Other than 1 or 2 things, I have not gotten anyone who has not been constructive in their criticism. So,
I feel fortunately lucky that I've yet to receive like a negative comment on anything that I've done. But I also don't receive many comments on any of my stuff. Which, it certainly doesn't hurt my feelings. Like, I'm doing a live stream. So like I expect 90% of what anybody's going to say about anything is going to be in the chat. And most people who aren't watching live tend not to just chime in afterwards. Although I will say, big shout out to Little Cobweb, because he commented on my last video and said he loves watching the streams. And I really appreciated that. So thank you again, Little Cobweb. I really appreciate you watching my streams, brother. Thank you. Like, they are no small feat. Honestly, I feel like I should have some kind of badge to hand out to people who sit for the whole time.
Black Phoenix, it's early still. My coffee hasn't clicked in. I feel like I didn't say hello to you when you arrived. If I did, we'll just pretend I didn't. Hello, it's good to see you here. I was also chatting with Black Phoenix in Messenger earlier, so it's hard to remember where one conversation ended and where the next began. So if I missed you saying hello earlier when you arrived, so good to see you here.
Yes. Honestly, I appreciate all of you amazing, beautiful people watching us today.
Well, most of them show up at your streams as well, so we have a very nice interconnected community. But
we definitely do.
We've got good people though. Like I've been really fortunate. I've never had a jerk show up to any of my live streams. Which won't last forever, obviously. The law of averages is eventually a jerk will show up. But they're so good.
It's gonna happen.
Somebody comes and prostates their opinions and everything goes to shit.
Yeah. Then it becomes then it comes a prolapse in judgment on their part.
Exactly.
I mean, or they just out themselves as being the same person twice in your chat by
Oh my god,
tagging
that was
themselves on the
so
wrong
funny.
account. It was hilarious.
And they
And
completely
Kayla
just
pointed
laughed.
out to me. I appreciated that. That was funny.
And they just laughed. They're like, oh
Well,
crap.
Brick would rather have you on the big screen for a bit, Allison.
Oh, okay. Well, I can do that. I just,
Yeah. Give the people what they want.
Let's see. Oh,
Everybody's tired of watching me work on Winston here. You're like way more complete than me. If you need me to stop sharing for a minute to make it easier, that's
yeah,
fine.
I think that's what's because it's just not.
Let me go
I
ahead.
don't want to solo it per se. Okay. All right. No, that's not what we want. There we go.
I could probably put in my God mode code too, since nobody's watching.
Yeah, you could do that. So yeah, we'll just put it out for a few, but
yeah,
I'm fascinated by what you're doing, so I'm enjoying watching that also. So
well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Trying to get some pointers. So since I'm on the screen and everyone can see that, the logos on this are really bad, so I'm just going in with an actual paint pen, so it'll go over the black. And I went in with the white pen to make the Ghostbusters. Well, the ghost and the Ghostbuster logo. And just give them little eyes.
Brick has mentioned the shitty spy work.
Yeah.
Like the fact that somebody felt the personal need to have 2 accounts to troll last
It
night.
was just really weird. Like, that's a lot of work for, I mean, I'm going to assume it's the same person who shows up regularly in troll mode.
Right. Trying to appear so much more intelligent, but I got Google at my fingertips too, and I could look up something like that.
It was, I don't know. It was just a very, very odd that, I don't know,
somebody felt the need to do that in the stream. Like, really? Okay.
Yeah, like, it's just strange. Like, that's how somebody is choosing to spend their Saturday.
Power to them. I appreciate them giving me views.
Yeah, and helps the engagement. So there you go. Yeah. So. All right.
No.
Yeah, that's the yeah. It's sort of like the one sort of drawback to these older books is just I will assume that the art on this was really precise and just the printing method that they used was not up to the task. Because the older printing style, sometimes that there's a ink bleed, which is why a lot of times on old coloring books, all the lines are really big and really there isn't a lot of detail because a lot of that detail gets lost in the printing process. So
right,
the art on this might be a lot better than it looks in the pictures, just because it was a little bit more delicate than the technology allowed for the type of printing that these would have gone through. So sometimes I have to remind myself that like this one does the art itself looks pretty good. It's looking better now that I'm going in and sort of cleaning up those little things. So I do think it's a limit of the technology.
Yeah.
And there's also, no matter how good of a scan is, the act of it getting scanned is going to degrade the art somewhat. And then I'm printing it out. So there's also going to be a little bit of loss there. Sometimes, no matter how good your printer is, no matter how good the programs you use are, there is a loss of quality in some printing. So
it just happens.
Like PDF that was made from JPEGs or PNG or whatever the original, and that also depending on what type of file that their scan started as. Some people will scan as PDF, but sometimes that doesn't actually make any difference, and it'll still come out bad. So,
right.
you know, like there are people who spend a lot of time archiving these old books, and that's why I have some of these. And those people, like, I'm grateful because that's part of why I'm able to do what I do. Because I can get, you know, buy PDFs very affordably, where an
Well, yeah.
actual copy of this in good condition, like I didn't, you know, like I looked at one and it was like almost $30 uncolored, but it was still really yellowed, which when you scan it in, you have to go in and color correct it, and then sometimes you'll lose black lines, so you have to adjust that. Like, it's at some point I need to break out my screen capture program and like actually walk people through how I do a page, so that people who are interested in making their own pages have that option. So,
Right.
interesting process. So, one. I'm assuming Ecto 1 is just all white.
White with red fins. You can get away with that for a very base paint job on it because, I mean, that's what it was.
I'm going to go with the old reliable eggshell.
Eggshell white, the perfect off-white.
Yeah, I just find that using, if I were to get brown, like there's off color paper that's like tan. And I've looked at that, and I've looked at white charcoal. So after I get the last few Halloween pages done that I need, so that I have all of my Halloween stuff ready, and I get my 8 shorts that I need to sort of be done, so that I have enough daily shorts through the first week of January. I'm gonna pick up some like toned paper and play around a little bit, give myself permission to do some pages that aren't for content,
That's
so that I can test some new techniques, so that because there are a few things I'm ready to start trying with my shorts that I need time to play with. I want to play with the storytelling features, and so many of these books do have stories in it. There's some, I think, cool stuff I could do with editing,
right?
beyond
Like,
just coloring the page.
well, even with this, like, you know, there was definitely one of the pages in that book is a picture of the firehouse with the roof
Yeah,
blowing off in a mushroom cloud.
yeah,
Like, that would be a fun thing to color, but I know, like, people aren't gonna wanna sit here and watch me paint a brick building with
yeah,
a mushroom cloud, like, you know, but that would be fun to go through and do.
yeah, yeah. That's, you know, that one, depending on how you did the explosion, could be really fun. There's
Oh,
some
I'm
really,
thinking about jazzing it up, you know?
oh yeah, like yeah, and that's the thing I have noticed, is if you do little things that, you know, that's why I sort of rely on those Caran d'Ache, water soluble um, crayons. Oh, I
Yeah.
think I put it okay that time. Crayon, yeah.
Crayons,
It's just,
crowns.
yeah, that's how you out yourself as a Southerner. It was a whole thing last week with Florence. It was
Uh-huh.
really bad. It kept slipping, but that's part of it, because I can get the background done really cool. But visually, it, like, the way it works whenever the water hits it is just really cool. So
Nice.
I sort of rely on that a lot, but I need to try some other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's always great to test new media too.
Yeah, well, it's just good to have more than one trick,
Yeah.
as it were. Um,
I
but yeah.
concur.
Yeah, and it seems like with the on the digital side with the explosion, there is a lot of fun stuff you could do. I've sort of been playing around with ways to quote unquote animate without it actually being animated. Like
Oh, nice.
that page I colored for the Duchess for her channel.
Yeah,
It
which is cool video.
took a really long time to get that, because I had no clue how to do that. It was just like, let me try this and that. But since I've been through it once, and all the stuff that went sideways with it, won't go sideways next time. So I think I'll be able to. I'll have some time pretty soon to play with that sort of thing more too. But there are ways like that where I can sort of quote unquote cheat, like create animation where it's not actually animated. So it's gonna be fun to play with.
Right.
And like Slimer, who was a guy I knew in college, but also as a character in Ghostbusters.
I was gonna say, like, the ghost went to your college?
No, there was it's funny, there was actually a guy in college we called Slimer.
Ew, was he slimy?
Sometimes.
Oh boy.
Like,
Ooh, that sounded almost saucy, like you wasn't mad either. Ooh.
sometimes.
Ooh.
No,
All right, spill the tea.
it
Come
was
on.
never me, but yeah, my friend dated him for a while, and another
Okay.
friend also dated him, and you know they both called him Slimer, and
Oh my.
there was just a point where things got a little
Oh, my.
slimy.
Little slimy.
A
Little
little
slimy
slimy.
slime.
Yeah. So anyway,
All right. All right.
it's too early to be anything more than PG-13, but
Right. We'll have to save that
we'll save it for Saturday.
Saturday, right?
We go into
Yeah, there you go. You guys heard it here. Upcoming this Friday,
yeah,
Saturday, whatever day of the week it is that I stream. I can't remember anymore.
every day.
We're gonna get the sauce.
But yeah, Slimer. Hi, Oli. Hello, little kitten.
Ooh.
Sir. What are you doing? Oh no, you don't.
Uh-oh.
There's no escape. Sir, it's time. Let's go ahead and do this little one really quickly.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Little one. So when you hear crashing around in the background,
is this guy.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Oli Fernando. There you go, buddy. Go check on your
I
brother.
just see Ed was asking if I knew whose channel they were from. The trolls from last night, Ed. I assume that's what we're talking about. We've just talked beyond that. So they were definitely both in my channel. They weren't from somebody else's like the other weekend.
I think whoever that particular troll is, though, I think that they're just hitting all of the channels until they get blocked, and they're just seeing where else it's streaming. Because it seems like it's the same person.
It is. I mean, if it's the same person who was trolling me before, it's definitely just one person. And the fact that I am possessing that much, space in their head to continue to be doing this months and months later, I appreciate all the views you've given me. So
thank you for being a fan.
You boosted me in the algorithm, buddy. I appreciate you.
You can't all be super fans, but you can, sir.
Henri, I don't know if you were still there or not. I thought you were, but maybe you weren't by that time. How do I have enemies? People just be hating. He has a YouTube channel. He has friends. I can't do that.
Right. I don't have any friends. I'm going to talk to myself and send videos of me pooping out of, obviously.
That may not have been the actual guy, but
that was from his collection, though. So.
The fact that he has that saved somewhere so that he can bring it up.
Yeah. He's spent a lot of time watching that video as well.
Oh, yeah. He knew when to have it perfectly timed for the grossest bits. That's okay, though. I don't mind. I went back and edited it, so it's not there anymore. It can't hurt us. We all do need therapy, though. But that's why we have Aaron.
Yep.
Aaron will take all of us that were scarred from the Prolapse and Judgment stream, and he will soothe us on our way. But he won't do it on Toy Therapy. He will just continue to soothe us on the Clubhouse streams because it's the easiest way to collect all of us in one spot.
It's true. We should have them do a group therapy session.
That's what we'll do. One night we'll call it the Clubhouse Group Therapy. Oh man, that'll be good.
The things the places you'll go.
Oh, the places we went.
Right.
The places we were brought to.
That was the first time I ever jumped on one of your streams as well, and I missed the first two because I was opening stuff. I had that massive pile of stuff to open.
That was the first night for a couple of folks too. Like, what a way to
jumped on that first time too.
Right? What a way to pop your all's cherry on my stream.
Yeah. You can
the
handle
fact that you You're right. The fact that you all continue to show up and hang out.
Right.
Oh, big stretch there. Ooh.
All right, let's get your go ahead and share your screen again. I think we've seen enough of mine big screen.
I'm still working on Winston, but I've got pack and chords done. Oh yeah, that's right. This is how we work this. Like the way you work it. No diggity. All right. Allison, I will need you to carry on the rest of that.
Oh yeah. There we go. Oh, perfect.
Look at that.
Excellent.
Right?
Excellent. Let's see.
Now, obviously, there's a lot less shading because I want to try to at least get one of these guys done before we, cut stream today. And Winston's cool, even though his outfit makes him look like he was on a commercial for Aquafresh.
Oh my God, what's the best toothpaste though?
Right? It's got that nice mintiness, but not too minty.
And it has all those cool colors,
right?
And it's still my toothpaste of choice.
Whenever I see like that like lightish kind, I like to say like a frost blue, not quite aqua, but like a frost blue. Yeah. And the other accompanying colors and then the red stripe, it's just like Aquafresh.
I remember before there was the red stripe. I remember when
because it just used to be like a green.
Yeah, it was
like
just
green, white, and the blue.
Yep, it was just those. And then they added the red and it was like a big deal.
Yeah. Ed says cutting stream is okay. Don't cross the stream. You cannot cross the stream unless it's to get rid of Gozer. Then it's okay.
2 minutes behind. Just heard the slime ring out.
Oh man,
it's all right, Alex.
So I know Rosario Dawson. I'm pretty sure she said it's sometimes okay to cross the stream.
Sometimes, yeah.
In the heat of the moment, it's okay to cross the stream. I hope people just got that Clerks reference.
Yep. And Cobb says he was away, and Little Cobb says, "What's up?"
Oh, you know what? You were away for a minute, Cobb, and I was shouting praises to Little Cobb for the comments on my last stream. So make sure he knows I appreciate him very much, and I hope that we can help his channel grow the more we talk about it on all of our streams. Cough, cough, JD Weber Studios. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Go check it out. Stop motion minifig.
I need to set up moderators so people can share links in the chat.
There you go. Yeah.
Like I keep forgetting that I should do that.
That's a thing, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, the funny part is most of my moderators are part of my stream now.
Right. Yeah. So, well, also you have to go do it on YouTube site, and they don't. It's not in a easy to find or very what do you call it?
I'll get
Intuitive
you.
spot.
No, it's really not because it's in the settings buried, and that's crappy. Oh, Muriel's here.
Muriel, good morning. Well, middle of the night for you, but good morning. Good to see you. Muriel, she and Kayla will be here with me next week.
All right.
And it's looking like as long as we don't all like implode or anything next time. I am hopeful that perhaps once every month we'll end a month of streaming with Alice and Muriel and Kayla's stream where we just sort of talk smack. I don't know. It's fun to hang out with them and
Chatty
I should see if Andrew wants to rejoin because I had a lot of fun with the three of them yesterday. It was, I mean, obviously there were intentions to it, but it was just fun and it was like all kinds of sass, but different flavors of it. So,
well, different flavors of sass helps. Spice is. Yeah, there's a saying there, and I can't think because I'm like
spice is the variety of life or something.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something along those lines.
Yeah, people of the world, spice up your life. Every boy, every girl.
There you go. Spice world.
Spice girls are all. That was my favorite thing. Right before the last Doom movie came out, people were sharing. Basically, they made a meme from like the "Say You'll Be There" video of all the girls in the desert, and they spliced them together, and they're like, "This new Dune movie looks lit," and I'm like, "Oh my god, I would so like enjoy a Spice Girls version of Dune." So
that would be something.
If we can make that happen, Hollywood, I'm there. I'm the first in line. I will go to a theater and see that opening weekend, even if it's on streaming at the same time. And so, for all you Hollywood execs that are sitting in the audience today, all two of you. All right, so this looks like they're on the. Are they standing on the street, or are they in more grass?
They're in a park at this section in the book.
Okay, so this is. Do you think it's grass under them or some sort of pavement? Because they're parked on it, but it could be grass. Because I see sidewalk behind them.
Yeah, there's like sidewalk with a railing, and then it's grass beyond that because you can see like the tufts of the grass. So I would say they are probably more accurately standing on asphalt, being that it looks more kind of like pebbly.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of thinking. All right, so asphalt tends to be like a purplish bluish color. So let's see what I got for that. So, because I finished my Ghostbusters.
They look stunningly like toys.
Thank you.
I'm still working on my Winston. I'm slow at it, but it's all good. At some point in time, I will finish and I will post.
Excellent. Yeah, we're sort of getting to the end time, but that's fine. Go up until the end. We can go a little over. I went a little over with Lawrence. I just tried to keep. Yesterday was a little different because Adam at Highly Articulated doesn't go live for a little bit, so we're not necessarily brushing up on anyone. It's just with Saturday. Like you go live, Toy Habits goes live. We were, like I was like, we need 2 hours for this, but if we go over, we're gonna start keeping other people from streams that they normally would go to. So,
right. Yeah, we're not trying to step on no toes.
Exactly. This is why I start at 11 because it's usually around the time Ken is wrapped up for the morning.
Right.
Because I enjoy watching TKO.
Waking up with Ken and doing that is always fun.
Yeah.
And lately, I've been watching a bit more of Jay Bartlett. and he normally streams like kind of like mornings and stuff. He's doing video game content though, not as much toys. So, and I was talking with him yesterday. He said give him some notice, but he will be glad to join us on a Saturday night.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah,
it would be nice to get a few newer faces in there.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. Stop fussing with this box. So while I usually use Prismacolor, I do use these a lot for my backgrounds because they're a quote-unquote budget pencil. The whole 10 is like $25. And they're decent pencils for the price.
Right.
I mean, they're decent pencils, but the price makes them more decent. But I tend to like to use them to go and do the background stuff where it's like, and they're not usually quite as vibrant as Prisma, so the background can sort of be background rather than being too vibrant and clashing. So.
Right.
All right, so let's get my grip. All right, there we go. I'm going to mute really quick so I can sharpen.
Word. That's right, Ollie. You're stuck with me solo for a moment. Oh, Muriel says you got to call that segment of your show Sunday Smack Talk. Sunday Smack Talk. I kind of dig that.
It's perfect.
You either do that or you just, call it tea time.
Yeah, accurate. Yeah, that's a good idea, Muriel. Oh, we'll even be like, and Muriel came up with the name.
That's right. Well, this is how you get segments on your show, right?
Yeah. Right. This week on Smack Talk.
Right. So Muriel has asked what I am using.
Oh, yeah.
And this is Autodesk Sketchbook. And you can download it. It's free. Again, I was explaining earlier, it used to be a subscription-based service, but they have made it free. And it's pretty user-friendly. You can definitely, you can bang out some work on this. And like I said, it really depends on what you feel like doing, because I went really detailed and shaded, more so on his outfit than I am on the wand. But yeah, that's really just the fun of it. And I'm realizing now, at the beginning of the stream, I remembered what their blasts looked like in the cartoon, and now for some reason I'm blanking on it. And I need to look that up. If I remember correctly, it was yellow and then red on the outside of it.
It sounds accurate from what I vaguely remember.
Right. Use my keyboard here and type out further instructions to Google to narrow my search. I just always remember the cartoon had a very distinct look to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's definitely a yellow, and then it has, it's actually got a blue electricity going around it, with a bit of an orange glow to it.
Nice.
All right, so that means, let me see if I can get my glow tips to work. What? Glow tip? It's a lot easier to replicate that with physical media than it is with digital.
This is true.
Got to redo my wrapping because it came undone.
Oh.
I need to find that glove. That would help a lot.
Everyone needs a glove.
Michael had one. Of course, OJ had one too. The glove's what got him off. Though. If the glove don't fit, you must quit. At least that's what we were told.
Yeah, that sounds accurate. I think that's what they said.
All right, let me see here and see if I can make this work. Glow, red. What if I switch it up to orange? Does that look better? There we go. This will be perfect. Whoa, hey, why is it changing that whole color there? That's not what I was looking to do.
When you said glow tip, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to a rave," and then the beat dropped.
Ooh, the beat dropped.
I think of all the memes that, like, because there was that year where there were all the beat drops memes. The best one was somebody had taken a picture of Tangina, was that, yeah, from Poltergeist, right? Whenever like she's trying, like all the winds are going crazy, and her hair is whipping around and her hands up, and they're like, when the beat drops, but you're trying to save Carol Ann. It's just like, oh man.
Carol Ann.
I used to be able to do that voice, but it like killed my throat, so it's not something I do a lot anymore.
All right. Oh no, that's just showing the size of that. Okay, we need to narrow that down.
Well, Kayla's still in the chat, so there may be size queens here. So
okay, so unfortunately, we kind of lose some of the effect.
Oh,
but there is the glow effect.
Oh, nice. It's not bad though.
Yeah. I'll just have to replicate it with actual color. That's okay. I can do that. We start off with a bit of red.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go here. We're going to get back to the pencil tip. And we're going to get all up in the... Oh, that's a very dark red because it's not in the right spot on the color wheel. I'm going to go with a bright red. There we go. Go around this portion here. I am not that young, Brick. That is Kayla. I grew up on OJ, and I don't mean the juice. I actually remember watching the chase on the news. Like, what the fuck's the big deal with this?
I would come home from college, and it was the time where I would normally have been watching One Life to Live because I scheduled my college courses around One Life to Live.
Good and for you, having priorities.
Wonder Woman on FX was lunch, and then my afternoon break was One Life to Live. And I would come home, and Wonder Woman would still happen. And by lunch, I mean like noon, because I started classes at like 7 a.m. And I was technically within walking distance of the college, but at that point, I was not going to walk, especially in Louisiana in the heat. But
yeah, no.
But it took like less than 5 minutes to drive back and forth. So it would have taken 15 to 20 to walk. So, but yeah. So my afternoon break for One Life to Live ended up being the OJ trial.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was not pleasant. Like, and it was when I was taking some criminal justice. I was in journalism, but I was thinking about maybe some criminal justice stuff because I still wanted to be a profiler, like Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh.
So I could have looked at it as like, homework or whatever, but I just wanted to watch Vicky Lord and Dorian Kramer go at each other and cat fight. And that summer was the one where Vicky's split personalities came back, and she had 7 more this time. And one of them threw Dorian down the stairs. That was pretty epic.
I will never forget on Days of Our Lives when Marlena got possessed. I was like, what is this?
I did not regularly watch Days of Our Lives, but I set my VCR every day during that because I couldn't schedule an extra hour off of courses.
Right? I mean, that was a big deal.
Oh, yeah. Like, everybody was talking about Marlena getting possessed by the devil. And then right after that was Princess Gina and the evil when Stefano had taken her. There was just
madness, pure madness in Days of Our Lives.
Stefano. It's one of my favorite parts of Legally Blonde when they're like, she's doing her admissions video. And she's like, and I'm totally up to date on current events. And her friend floats by, hey, Al, what happened on Days of Our Lives? She's like, once again, we joined Princess Gina in the quest to recover her lost memories. As you know, they were stolen by the evil Stefano.
Yeah.
It's like, and I've never been able to say Stefano since without it being Stefano.
And it's the evil Stefano. Like, don't you forget it. The evil Stefano.
He was a pretty good evil villain character.
He really was. He was sympathetic in a lot of ways, which is what made him so good.
Well, so much of his evil just came from like wanting to make sure his family was, provided for and protecting his family. So it was skewered and it was messed up. But it wasn't coming just because he could be evil. It was because, John Black and Marlena had hurt his family.
Yes.
He was expecting them to hurt them more. It was very, I don't know. It makes me kind of sad soap operas are like a dying art form because they're really like, when they're at their peak, they're like pretty epic.
Yeah, my mom was a huge Days of Our Lives fan. And so that is where my love for Days of Our Lives came from. And now it's not even running anymore, I don't think.
It doesn't run on regular network television. It's on Peacock exclusively now.
Oh.
So you can still watch it on Peacock. I don't have Peacock.
I'm going to need to see the Peacock.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, if you enjoy it, definitely find it and watch it because especially on streaming, because it's so much easier for them to track viewership on there than it is on actual network TV.
Right.
So I only do General Hospital now, and I don't even watch it every day anymore. It's just got too much stuff to watch on YouTube.
We do. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Carol mentioned that Days of Our Lives was a staple. Yes, it was.
Yeah. Every summer, my friend Jennifer, Pam's little sister, they watched Days of Our Lives. So when I would go see my grandparents in the summer, a lot of days would be spent up at Jennifer's watching Days of Our Lives and playing Strawberry Shortcake or Barbies and watching Days of Our Lives. And then there was the year where she liked the New Kids on the Block and I did not.
I enjoyed New Kids. I was subjugated to it. Yeah. But then I found out I had the right stuff because Donnie Wahlberg told me.
That's the reason why they sing this song.
And I believe it.
Yeah, they had a song or two, but the cultishness around them was a little...
Oh, that was boy bands in general. They all had their own little cult. Most musicians do.
It's true, but I had not, I think it's sort of interesting to think about the fact that for a lot of us in the 80s, like the true boy band phenomenon was the first time we would have experienced it would have been New Kids on the Block.
Right.
Because like before that, like Jackson 5 and like even the Beatles. It was just before our time.
Right.
And then
Yeah,
the
it
Beatles
really
started
was.
out sort of classic boy band if you go back and rewatch it.
Oh, yeah. They
But
also had to make it big in Germany before they were big here.
just like David
even
Hasselhoff.
even in London, like, or in England where they were from, like they had to go make it big in Germany before anybody took them seriously.
Which is really interesting.
Germans are always on the cutting edge, man. Cutting edge.
Yeah. Music, movies, genocide.
Hey, Boys to Men, Brick.
Motown Philly's back again.
Boys to Men. But Boys to Men.
Oh, let me catch up really quick.
Oh yeah, we've seemed to have missed quite a bit.
Oh my God, Muriel, like this is accurate. So I know one of the things we should talk about next week on the Smack Talk, OJ, the OJ trial.
That would probably be a big learning experience for Kayla. Because I don't know how much of that. Kayla, if you're still in the chat, how much of O.J. Simpson's trial do you remember? I know you're old enough that it would have been going on because, you know, you definitely would have heard jokes about it.
Oh my God, my aunt loved that one. The good aunt, not the one that I have a grudge with. Menudo. Oh God, right. But Menudo, like, you have to understand, Brick. And this is where where I grew up in the South, Menudo did not quite hit like it did in other places. And Boyz II Men was after New Kids on the Block. New Kids on the Block was like 87, 88-ish to like 93. And Boyz II Men was like 91-ish.
I first remember hearing Boyz II Men like 92, 93. Those are my first memories of Boyz.
It was around there. Motown Philly was their first one, but then It's So Hard to Say Goodbye, I know, was at least 1992 because that was like everyone's graduating song for like 5,000 years.
I remember that song because of Lethal Weapon 3.
Which is the one Carrie Fisher Ghost wrote. Which is why the Rene Russo, Mel Gibson stuff lands, because she's the one who went in and rewrote all of that dialogue and all those scenes.
Oh, I got to do a quick edit to the line art.
Do what you got to do.
Otherwise, this isn't going to show up right. And
I have digitally removed Bo's mustache on Princess of Power pages many times with the white paint pen. It's like, sir, you do not have a mustache in my canon.
All right, I'm actually going to back up. Here we go. We're just going to put this. I have one layer on top of the line art, and I can't remember why. Oh, yeah, because I was doing the whites of the eyes.
Yeah.
There we go. So this will be that top layer. A little here, fundamental. It's where that creative liberty is going to take over.
Sometimes you got to take some liberties.
Actually, I need another. This could do it. Maybe not. Let's see, chisel tip.
Oh, oops. Sorry, everyone. I didn't mean to hit my camera. There we go.
All right.
And since we have a word balloon, I'm going with an alcohol marker.
Oh no, I have forgotten how I can rotate the chisel tip. That may not work as well as I thought. Let me see how this actually looks when I try to zoom out. Why won't it give me my puck? There we go.
With the puck.
Where the puck? All right. Actually, this might work better doing this if I just zoomed out. So we'll do that there. Give it kind of like that little wavy line that they were notorious to have.
Yep.
And let me see if I can go in here back to advanced. And let me see if I can rotate my chisel tip so that it counters. Like I can even control the roundness, the rotation. I can fine tune my tip.
Just the tip.
Just the tip. And if I'm going to do that, then I want to rotate my drawing again this way. Or maybe just a little bit that way. Now we'll have it come in like here. No, that's not working for me. Hold on. I got to rotate. I got to rotate the tip a little more, guys.
Rotate it. Flip it. Smack it up. Flip it. Rub it down.
Flip it and reverse it. Missy Elliott, one of the best rappers of all time.
One of the best. Which yesterday we had a after the stream ended, we had an impromptu dance and sing along where Kayla rapped for us to a Missy song. Well, a Sierra and Missy song. So.
That was the cover of the Ghostbusters theme that I used for my post today. Was the Fallout Boy cover from the Ghostbusters movie that everybody seemed to hate.
Excellent. Point Break New Edition. That's true.
New Edition?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They hit a little bit harder where I grew up, but not. My sister was obsessed. Oh, well, you know, the coloring.
Put some brown rivets in his boots just to change it up a little, then flat black.
Nice. Oh my goodness. Oh, OJ. How did that all happen?
Like, he gets off for that, right?
Right.
You know, he gets off, despite how you feel about it. The man got off, right?
Right.
I'm not saying he did it. That's not my place. I'm just saying.
But he said he did it later when he wrote a book called If I Did It. Here's how I do it.
He gets away with this thing. And then
no more and then.
He's like so broken poor. Man's got to go try and steal his own memorabilia bag and gets busted for that.
Oh yeah.
Like, man.
Okay, when you kill your ex-wife and the guy at her house and get away with it, you have got to keep your nose clean afterwards. Allegedly.
Right?
I mean, I'm just going to say they're going to throw the book at you. So.
Right? If they feel like they missed their shot before, they are not going to take a second chance at missing it.
And I actually agree with that hot take. Like, agreed. And Leslie Jones is still my favorite Ghostbuster. I don't care what anyone thinks.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people love Bill Murray, but like for me, Bill Murray is like Meatballs, What About Bob, and Quick Change, and Groundhog Day, and the rest of it is sort of there. I mean, he was in Charlie's Angels, but he was not what that movie was about. So that was the movie about bringing back the hair flip.
He did not. Yeah, basically, yes, he was in it, but he didn't need to be in it. You know, that movie was definitely not made for his benefit. Although I know he wasn't complaining.
Well, yeah. I mean, the important thing about, like, really quick, and the important thing to remember, especially with the American justice system, was he was found not guilty, but he wasn't found innocent. It just means they couldn't prove beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury. So you can actually have done something and legally be not guilty. So, and that's the distinction that is sometimes lost in American justice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm actually done. So
all right. Well,
line right there.
This is what I got going on over here.
Excellent.
Look at that amazing, weird, crazy looking beam. A little proud of that effect. I thought that was cool. Yeah, so it took me all that time to do that. I thought I was going to get more done, but I also forget how to use this thing.
That's part of how we learn how to use new things.
Yeah. It's been a while since I sat down with this little tablet.
We can go a few more minutes. It's 1:17 p.m. PST, so let's make it an even another 12 minutes. Give you a little time to wrap up.
All right, that'll work.
And
let me enlarge my tip here. That'll help me cover more ground if I enlarge my tip.
Enlarge. It's the largest. And I will just, since we printed two, I printed two out. I picked out your second choice.
Yeah. Ray going ham, because he was like the happy-go-lucky, like, you know, good all-around guy, and he just has this angry scowl all over his face.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm gonna shit up. He's gonna get you, ghost.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good.
It just sounds like you're at the dentist.
Right. All right. So I was gonna try to give him a brown heel to his boot, but I don't like it.
Okay. Well, that is one of the advantages of digital, is it's a lot easier to change it if you don't like it.
Yep. I'll just cover that up. Then I gotta go get my eyedropper and steal my color gray back. Now we gotta zoom in here and go thin tip again so we can get in all these spots. So apparently, like, one of the new big TikTok trends is that they're trying to learn how to write their names without lifting their pen from their paper.
Okay.
That's the thing. And I'm just kind of like, okay, I get it. Nobody uses cursive anymore. Gotcha.
Oh, right. I still write, and well, I use that in that weird sort of half cursive, half print thing. And so Yeah, that's odd. I mean, I get why, get why cursive isn't.
Well, I mean, they always say, like, type everything now, print everything. So I kind of get it. But at the same point, I'm also now just coloring all in one layer because I stopped being so picky. But yeah, like, I get it. They always say, like, type everything or print everything. So there's really no point to them teaching people how to write in cursive. But at the same point in time, it is kind of sad that, they're just like, yeah, try to write your name without lifting the pen. And I'm like, that was an exercise I had to do when I was in first grade.
Yeah.
Just learning how to write my name, period. Like, yeah, that. So I get it.
Yeah, I don't. It's so strange to me because, like, I would assume you still have to take notes in class. So, like,
Right? Like, how are
and
you
not all
writing all that
classes let
down?
you use a laptop. So, I don't know. It's weird. What do you do if your computer breaks? I mean, I guess you just print and it takes you longer, but still.
Right.
I don't know, guys.
Rick, if you are still with us, can you enlighten us any? So Alex is mentioning that he still uses cursive.
Nice.
Thanos says he actually hates cursive because you can never read the forms nurses hand me. Thanos, I feel you on that.
Yeah.
I have to transcribe orders quite frequently, and nothing is worse than trying to read doctor's handwriting and it's medical terms. Like, try reading somebody in cursive that they wrote down radiculopathy. Yeah, that sucks. All right, Brick's got us some word here. He says, lame conspiracy. It's because he was is he still back on the OJ thing? Okay.
Oh, looks like Pop.
I don't know if got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't. No, that wasn't. He had a great legal team.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
I think it's been used as a convenient narrative in the U.S. that's what happened, but it was money talks, and fame goes a long way. I mean,
Thanos is saying he always looks up the orders in the system. Well, Thanos, how do you think those orders get in the system?
right, magic.
Somebody got to put them there. That's part of what I do. Part of what Oz does on the daily. Decipher hieroglyphics. That is doctor's handwriting. That is not an easy task at all. I see. Rick deleted the message. Well, you know what? For us back here in the StreamYard booth, you can delete it all you want.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, it all popped up. Oh, there we go. Pick further up.
All right, so we may have to go for a slightly different shade of blue here. So I'm going to start with that as my base, but we'll go a little bit darker
yeah,
to differentiate parts of the blaster that are overlapping.
Yeah, it's showing. It actually is showing. Rick didn't delete those. It looks like YouTube deleted those. So.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Well, in lieu of since I don't have what moderators yet, I have the offensive words setting where it will
auto
nuke
delete.
anything. Yeah, it auto deletes anything that triggers there. I mean, like, I guess I can see why those would, but there's so I mean, I sort of get it, but it's not. I've seen them let some stuff flow through for people who have that setting where I'm like, that's probably a little bit more offensive than anything pop actor has to say. So I'm just saying YouTube. But
yeah, social medias are funny about how they like to control what people can say and cannot say. Like, I was in a group where, it was like a naughty Facebook group, and they had to, like, you play like your different naughty games and stuff. I think I brought this up on one of my streams publicly before, but they would be all like, they might ask questions like, would you rather drink the trying to think of what YouTube might allow me to say verbally here, ejaculate of a donkey or a whale or something like that.
Right.
And so, like, that's the question, but it was not worded so nicely.
Right.
Okay. And like, YouTube was fine with that. However, the person answered that question by saying the animal's name. They said whale. And they got like a 60-day ban for saying the word whale.
Right.
And it even had the emoji of the animal. And it's like, wow, really? Like that got the ban, but the question itself, that was fine to say.
Yeah, it's really I have this meme I shared a couple years back. It was a Jeffrey Dahmer meme, and it was something about Five Guys.
Oh yeah, 5 guys in the mouth.
Yeah, and I got a 30-day suspension from posting
something with Dahmer
because it was Dahmer, and it happened at the same
Jeffy
time,
Dahmer.
And it happened during the Black Lives Matter protests, and there was a lot of stuff that wasn't getting banned. And I shared it, so every year at the same time, whenever it pops up in my memories, I get banned, so I can't go in and actually delete it. So every year it's less what happens to me because of it, but it still exists on YouTube, because otherwise it would, on Facebook, or it would show up as this post is no longer available. So somebody didn't get banned for it, which means somebody went and reported me for it that I know on Facebook. So
that's always nice.
Yeah, I pretty much know who the bitch is, and it's all right, because
that bitch.
I may or may not have got her fired from her job. So.
Well, yeah, she keeps getting you banned from Facebook. She deserved it. I mean, what?
Yeah, right. So, but yeah. And at some point, I'm sure next time I just feel salty about it, I'll send all the screenshots of our combos we used to have to her husband.
No.
Sure, he would love to know where she really was those nights that we were, quote unquote, hanging out.
Ew. Ew.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Y'all heard it here. There is sass. There is sauce. The tea is being spilt.
Yeah.
And every time I think about that phrasing now, I just imagine Ted Darklaw,
Mm,
Helidope Toys, doing the Moss Man thing.
right.
That is just one of the funniest things in the world to me. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, then you're not following Helidope Toys, and you need to go check that out.
Check it out.
Five Guys. Cobweb Collector says, Five Guys. Were they making pizza? That's not what Five Guys does.
Yeah, it's
They
a
get
burger place.
burgers.
They're really good burgers, actually.
They are. They are of decent quality, and they're of a fairly decent price for what you get. You can get them made up and doctored up any which way you
Yeah.
like. I prefer mine with barbecue sauce, grilled onions, jalapenos, because they use fresh jalapenos, not the
There's pickled.
yeah, the pickled jarred kind, because those are good too, but they're
Those are,
just like
yeah, but those are best like on nachos from like at the high school football game.
right, like with the cheap nacho sauce,
Mhm.
like
It comes from a can.
right, like but they put fresh jalapenos on their burgers, which just have so much more flavor.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. And now I want Five Guys in my mouth. And you heard it
Right.
here.
Yeah. Where's Kayla when you need her? Yeah, I go for the sauteed mushrooms, the
Mm-hmm.
pickle, A1 steak sauce,
Yeah.
and onions. It's just been forever since I've eaten anything fast food. I haven't had a burger in almost 3 years now. I mean, a
Well,
hamburger. I've had chicken burgers and fish burgers.
yeah, but those aren't the same.
They're not the same.
That is not a beef patty.
It's not. So,
All
I've had
delicious
burgers,
ingredients.
but I haven't had a cheeseburger or a hamburger in a while. Maybe I'll fix that. Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, 'cause it's okay to have one like once in a while, right? Like
Yeah, it's fine.
I know you have your dietary restrictions,
Yeah.
so
I mean, I could eat it, but
okay.
I also feel really often when I have, well, I haven't actually had fast food, but anytime I eat, last time I went to a restaurant and had like greasy fried foods, like it was worth it, but I was not well for a couple of days. My digestive system reacted very poorly to the sudden introduction of onion rings and french fries that had been in grease that was clearly not clean. And it's more that, like it was old grease than actually eating fried
Right.
foods. Because, like, I've had fried foods, but not from dirty oil at a restaurant. So, like I've fried a thing or two for myself, and that's been fine because, it's fresh oil. So,
Yeah, exactly.
makes a difference. But yeah. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. There we go. Just just a Discord bot let me know that I have not made all my points in one of my mobile games.
Discord bot.
Right?
Actually, now instead I'm picturing a disco bot, which is way more
That would be
entertaining.
way cooler. If just a random bot showed up, I'm
Mm,
like, you need to disco dance now, Allison.
right? Disco bot. That's what we need. Instead of these stupid YouTube bots, we need a disco bot.
That would be pretty cool. Disco, disco, disco. There we go. It's a little rough, but we'll do it. Let's see.
Brick, did you just share in a Facebook group chat what I think you shared? I can kind of see that notification pop on my screen here. Are we giving away the secrets? That's okay. We kind of said we would last night. Like we weren't going to hold it back if people asked privately. We were just not going to post it publicly. Which I feel is reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to put it out there where somebody may accidentally see it that doesn't want to see it.
Oh, the internet.
Intrawebs. They were invented by Al Gore.
Yep. He gave so much and requested so little in return. Al Gore, the man, the legend, the guy who won an Oscar for PowerPoint.
Right?
That's like the biggest contribution he ever did was his Oscar for a movie where he stands on a platform in front of a PowerPoint presentation.
Well, I know I was always a big fan of his work as Man Bear Pig.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty good.
From South Park.
Yeah.
It's very, very important document.
Yeah.
Is this okay? This is definitely cable looping around here.
Yeah, some of the pics are a little wonky.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see, but this is supposed to be like coiled cable. So I'll try to emphasize that as much as I can there. And then that's part of his proton pack. Actually, you know what? This that was part of his proton pack. And so is that. But the rest of that is definitely cable.
Yeah. Well, that cable they had to lay.
Ooh. Highly articulated has popped in. Oh, see you, Thanos.
We're good one, Thanos. Thanks for making it out.
I'm liking this. We're getting the update here. He has to get back to decorating.
That is accurate. You do have that today. And we will definitely be making that today. I will. I can't speak for Oz, but I'm definitely planning to be there.
I will certainly be there.
So,
I may not. Yeah, because it's going to be that 50th. I may not even flood the chat like I usually do.
Dun dun dun. Maybe.
Well, Allison will be there. She can normally pick up the pace.
On that as well, Adam. That's a huge
50th episode. Yeah. 500 subscribers.
Yeah. Oh.
Congratulations required all the way around. One of the best channels out there.
Yeah, it's true. It's the secret. It's the thing they don't want you to know. Yeah, see, that's the thing I don't get. Like, we should all hate Ted Bundy. I don't know why they would like.
Right.
But I'm much more interested in people hating Ted Bundy than all these weird women who think he's hot. Like, what? He's so
Al Bundy is hotter than Ted Bundy.
Al Bundy, definitely. I understand why Peggy got stuck in the trap she got stuck. Peg Bundy and her hair, epic.
Yes.
This peacock blue prism color is really fun to use. I'm like, I need to just start figuring out things to
color with peacock.
Yeah, right. I was literally like, ooh, that's a really nice shade. It's like, what else should be peacock blue now? I'm literally
all the things
thinking about my stack of stuff to work on, trying to figure out which one based on what I can use that peacock blue for. sort of what's funny to me, even as an adult, is yeah, because as kids we do that, but even as adult, I have noticed with the coloring that every so often there will be like a particular shade that I just dig so much
Yeah.
that I'm making up reasons to use it, or like, let's be a little bit more creative with how we do this one today. And then I hear that lady from TikTok's voice in my head.
Everybody's so creative.
It's like,
I
oh
knew who
no.
you're talking about.
I she's one of the only people I consistently watch on TikTok. Just everybody's so creative.
Everybody's so creative.
And so I keep thinking at some point, because you can clip stuff like that in with actually you can even use that for that sort of sound clip on regular videos on YouTube. And so I
Yeah.
sort of have one of my villain obscuras that I'm working on, where I keep thinking this would be a fun place to clip in. Everybody's so creative.
Right.
So it might happen because like it could definitely bring some more sass to
Do it.
some of my content, but just I've
Pop
got one of the
everybody on the sass train.
I've got the villain obscura currently furthest in production. Um, I've got the sound clip of when Luke Skywalker like shows up in the detention block and he's like, "I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you." And like Leia goes, "You're who?"
A
I've
little
sound
short for a stormtrooper.
Yeah, I've got a clip of the "You're who," and I'm gonna throw that in because I'm doing a whole big build up of like you remember this character and this character and this character and then there's this character and then you're who. So it's cheesy, but I don't know. I need a little bit of cheese in my content.
Everybody needs a bit of cheese.
It's part of my brand.
It's
It's
just
like
gotta have that little bit of fun.
it needs to be a little. If you don't have a little bit of humor to some of the stuff, like there's no point in doing it.
Agreed.
Toys should be fun.
All of this should be fun. People should not take it so seriously.
Well, it's like I am totally figuring out how I want to do multi-pages in a short because I have the a never-ending story coloring book, and they have the scene with the horse in the coloring book, and I'm 100% going
Oh.
to color all those pages and do a short over the
Oh.
never-ending story song, and just because I was like, it'll either go really bad or it'll go really bad.
Can
Like
it
that.
be the Stranger Things cover
I don't
of
know
the
if that was.
Neverending?
I'll look and see because if so, that would be even more epic because that
Right?
reignited my love for that song. That
Right?
whole cheesy, like somebody was like, "I was so stupid and cheesy." I'm like, "Yes," and that's why we loved it.
And it was absolutely perfect for those reasons,
Yeah,
right?
like the 80s. Like this is the thing that people forget about the 80s. Like they were cheesy and they were tacky, and it was more than just the clothes and the hair and like everything about the 80s was cheesy and tacky. Like, and it wasn't as colorful as everyone thinks. It was very brown.
It got more colorful as it came into the 90s.
Yeah, there was
That's where the bright colors
like
started
a bunch.
hitting.
84, it kind of started, but like like all the neon and stuff that people associate with the 80s didn't really
Oh,
hit
no.
clothing until like 80s, late 86 or 87. Like the first time any neon came to live in my closet was like 1987, 88. And like it was really way more about and then grunge killed it, of course, because grunge. But
I like grunge.
ooh.
Oh.
See,
Oh,
Leslie Van Houten,
wow.
yeah, she's one of the few members of the Manson family that I feel like, I don't feel like should have spent her entire existence in jail because, like, I feel like she actually like learned her lesson. Like, there are a few of them like that would go up for parole, and I'd be like, no, you're still horrible. Whereas Leslie Van Houten, it really seemed like she realize what she had done, and she was the least involved of most of them. So,
Yeah.
but she seemed actually authentically remorseful, and like she probably could have done good for the, like when you do something like that and you recover from it, you could do a lot in the way of helping people who get stuck in cults or helping people avoid cults and
Right.
All the things. So
don't be brainwashed, people. Don't be
exactly.
brainwashed.
Right? Don't join a cult with a creepy, gross dude who's an ex-con who hasn't bathed in weeks and wants you to go kill bougie rich people.
Don't join a cult unless it's called the Frenzied.
That's true. That's fair.
And in which case, we welcome you with open arms. We occasionally have cookies.
Sometimes.
Bud has the cookies.
And sometimes he might even share. Not always. Not every time, but sometimes.
He's more likely to share the cookies than the edible he had before the cookies.
That's true. Well, it is that time of year where I need to remind people, nobody is going to try to give your kids edibles for Halloween.
Nobody is dumping their drugs into your kid's bag. That shit costs way too much to be just handed out to people for free.
Nobody is doing that. No.
Even if you buy it legally, it's way too expensive.
It's too spendy. Nobody likes your kid that much.
Right?
You're cool. Here you go, kid.
Hey, you know what, kid? I want you to have a really, really fun Halloween.
I see your mom and dad at the end of the street. You need this more than I do.
Right? Like, I know them. I've seen them before. I went to school with them. You need this.
Is your dad still horrible?
Be like, if your mom says anything to you about it, you tell her, I remember when she used to enjoy it.
Right. That's what sort of cracks me up about, some of my friends who have kids now. When they'll complain about stuff their kids are doing. And like, in our day, we never, it's like, oh yeah, we did. Like
in our day, we did other shit that was just as stupid, heinous, and bad.
Or when like a friend that like, we would ride around and listen to like 2 Live Crew and or like online, oh my god, my kid is listening to like this song by this WAP song. Oh my god, when did music get so dirty? Yes, Clarice, when indeed. Remember that time we were driving around listening to, oh well, that's different. Not really, no.
Remember about Baby Got Back?
Right. At least WAP is from the female perspective of empowerment.
It's a
woman sexualizing herself in a way she feels comfortable with. That's way more better than what is happening over in any of the 2 Live Crew songs that we listen to, Clarice. But okay. Be outraged, Tipper Gore Jr.
Are the lambs still screaming, Clarice?
Yep, and they're singing WAP. Get a bucket and a mop.
Whoa. You and Dawn will get it along just
right. It'll be a fun stream.
Then we'll start hearing the questions. So what's Oz like when he's not toy tubing?
Right.
And Dawn will tell you all. Talking about toy tube is what he's like when he's not toy tubing.
It's a very insular life we lead.
True.
I point blank told somebody last time we hung out, I'm like, I'm just going to talk about this a lot. If you don't like it, then we don't. Just don't call me to hang out again.
So. Right. Like, this is what I got going on with my life. So if you don't want to hear about it, I'm sorry. You can check at the front door because it's really what I got going for me. And I'm not mad about that. I don't say it's like a bad thing.
No,
I love what I do.
Better than sitting and talking to somebody about a boring job you have that you're not passionate about.
Well, we all saw a little bit of that in the chat. Was that yesterday when I went off? Like, just completely went off in there.
Yeah.
I was like, I have had enough. Like, a guy really, really got to me. I was so freaking mad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was like his reasoning behind it. Like, my shoulder hurts. It's like, yeah, well, I guess I guarantee there's at least some of these people who have appointments scheduled that you're so entitled to who have cancer. Like, I'm sorry your shoulder hurts, but I think
Yeah.
they may need their appointment just as much as you think you need yours.
I love that cop. I love that for Leslie Van Houten, and I love it for your family member. Like, that's rad.
That's
Like,
cool.
anyway, so. Oh my goodness, it's almost 2:00. So,
yeah, we had that little bit of extra time and went way over.
Yeah, right? So, I guess we'll start wrapping up.
We're going to wrap it up.
I almost finished the second one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you did really good. I'm still working on Ray.
Right? I mean, Ray. I didn't get to the ghost. I'll work on this through the day. I'll post this one also on Instagram. Right. I don't know what color to color these ghost things, though.
Well, that was the fun part about Ghostbusters, because like there was like no uniform ghost color.
Yeah,
so as long as it's like bright, you're good.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking, I'm gonna quickly, while you're wrapping up, so that I don't forget what's in my brain, which happens sometimes. Okay. A little bit of a poppy red, so I know I want poppy red. And let's see, something red down here in contrast with that. This guy has what looks like scales or slime, so we'll throw down some spring green. So I remember I want a bright green. That guy went to a little pink, so that I know I want a pink ghost. And this guy will be some sort of blue. There we go. All right. Got my ghost color swatches down.
All right.
And this will be nice and bright and colorful. So you guys can see that one on Instagram later. Oh my goodness. Do I have a cat co-star again? So you're gonna have to back up a bit so I can move. There we go.
Kitty co-stars.
He likes to sleep between my back and the back of the chair, which is fine when I'm leaning forward, but coming back. All right. Let's.
All right, guys.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. I can just stop sharing my screen now. There we go.
That. Okay. No. And then there were two. No, this one's better. All right. So it's time to wrap it up. We went an hour longer than expected. So one, thank you for that, Oz. And thank you to the people who watched, because some of you were here the whole time. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. All right. And this is the official YouTube time, even though what I like about this is we just sort of chatted where the chat took us, which is fun.
That is my favorite way to go about things. There's always my piece of advice to anybody who asks me like about the live stream, like, what do you do? I always say, let the chat guide you. Like, you can have a base topic, flow with that topic. Chat's going to interact with it, and just let it flow from there.
Well, coloring as an adult is supposed to be partly about relaxation, so that kind of works with it, just letting things go where it goes. So let's do the official. And for that, I'm going to get the podcaster mic. So Oz, where can the people find you after this?
Well, you'll see me around various chats throughout the rest of the day. I don't think I have any outstanding invites to join today. So I will definitely be catching people in the chats of all the rest of ToyTube today. And then, of course, you'll, again, find me on Thursday night, Skelevator's channel. We will be doing Toy Frenzy. And then, of course, again on Saturday night on Ozstradamus Toyz for the Clubhouse Hangout.
Excellent. And I will probably see you on Saturday on, yeah, I'll probably be there hanging out. I've got daily shorts happening every day. Right now they're actually on Sundays will be 2 because I'm doing some Halloween content. I've got the only thing official right now is next Sunday I'm doing another one of these with Muriel and Kayla. And I'm going to invite Andrew and see if he wants to come since yesterday was so much fun. But if not, it'll just be the 3 of us and it'll be more of this coloring and chatting. Smack Talk as Muriel advertised, which will be fun. And we will be coloring a picture of the Sorceress of Grayskull from Motu because that's what Muriel picked. And it's sort of, you know, even though she's a bird, it's kind of Halloween themed. So we'll be doing that. And I've got a couple of Villain Obscura videos planned and a large size Princess Leia vintage Star Wars doll video in the works. So, and then normal compilations and whatnot. So full week of content from me as expected. So that's that. To the chat. So glad you could also catch it, Muriel. One of my favorite people in the world. Thank you, Cobb. We will definitely see you soon. And Alex, as always, thank you. I appreciate you.
That's right.
And so with that, Allison Joy, Retro Joy Princess, is signing off. Have a great day, everyone. And go check out Highly Articulated's 50th episode, if you can.
Definitely do that.
And